Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the sex, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, Sam Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, change. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the stack. Ordinals the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee back. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy, and I'm trying to recover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and this is going to be absolutely amazing, guys. We got Bitcoin sitting at $117,883. Let me repeat that. We have Bitcoin sitting at $117,892, guys. I am insanely excited. I am insanely excited for a lot of different reasons. Main reason is this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of an epic bull run, guys. I think this goes all the way until next May, guys. And I think that, we're going to see just the beginnings of a huge bull run this month, but and then maybe a little cool off in August, September, October, November, December, being absolutely insane going into January, guys. I think that we've been beaten down. I think we have been wrecked for too long. And that is over, guys. There's nothing they can throw at us. Trump's throwing the tariff stuff at us today. We're just ignoring it. It's bouncing off us. We are bullish right now. And I think that every single one of you guys should be proud of yourselves for actually taking the time, learning, sticking with it. Because I know how hard it was. We went an entire year in a soul-sucking market and got nowhere, right? But we stayed consistent. We stayed extra. We stayed around, and we defeated the big bear market that we've been in. If you count November, right? November was the only month that we've seen any type of relief going in the last 12, 13 months. And then this month, we finally see huge relief. And it's not just Bitcoin either. You have Ethereum running up. You have Dog running up. You have Tau running up. It is my entire screen right now is green, and it feels so good. It feels so good, guys. Really excited. So without further ado, let's get this thing started. Bring my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling today, bro?
I feel great. I feel energetic, man. Okay, I'm ready to go, but I was like, wow, the energy is flowing from yesterday for real. What we haven't really had an opportunity to live stream that type of all-time high. We broke through that line. It felt so good. But yeah, and then right now, I think a lot of eyes are on Ethereum and some of these alt tokens, right? The blue chips first, and then but you're already even seeing it trickle down to like runes, right? Like Dog is starting to really get that local high going. We'll see where that leads for the Bitcoin runes. Billy's picking back up. One thing about $1 Billion Cat that I always, I'm a community member of the $1 Billion Cat community. One thing is when it's game time, they show up. And so we'll see if this is still the case here. But yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I can't hold my excitement in. I feel like it's an exciting day. I will say, if you're a leverage trader, just, tiptoe around, depending on if you're trading Bitcoin or you're trading some of these alts and stuff like that. Be careful heading into the weekend. I do think that we do get between 120 and 130 still. You and I have been talking about the M2 money supply. So we've been preparing our audience and ourselves for what we're witnessing right now. But I still think we have a little bit ways to go up here. And I think that happens probably next week. Maybe some good data comes in from CPI and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like people that are going to make the most money, though, are the ones who don't trade, you invest. Invest in good projects, invest in communities, invest in total, new markets that have entered over the course of the last 6 to 12 months. And I feel like Runes is one of them, right? I feel like Dog is one of them. Invest, don't trade, and I think you're going to make out more than I mean. You can make money trading, right? But the ups and the downs, especially in a bull market, bear market, it doesn't matter. It's always hard. So, I mean, my advice is invest, don't trade. Figure out those assets that you're going to sell in May and go away. That's my strategy right now, right? Yeah. So, but let's kind of get into some charts here. First thing, Bitcoin finally broke this big camel's back, right? This is something that I've been following for a while here. You see this camel, Sally the camel had 2 humps, and then she had a head, and then we officially broke out of that, guys. We are up at up here. The new all-time high from my point of view is around a little under 119. So that is very nice. Looking to see if we can break this today. I think we can get over 120 today. But let's jump into some things that we've been looking at for a while here, and that's the global M2 money supply versus Bitcoin. Right, we finally have a good chart now. Colin posted this about 16 minutes ago, so this is fresh. It's brand new. Well, it's showing 117.979. What do you think about this, man? We have been following this since back here. I want to say since like February. What do you think so far?
Yeah, I love that it's coming back from that deviation that it had, and I'm sure Colin feels pretty good because he got a lot of slack for the M2 global supply kind of not being 100,000% accurate for a short period of time, right? And I think that like you have to always, nothing in this life is like 1,000% perfect every time. So when you're using a chart for like as an indicator or a guide, you have to have that open mind that okay, it might deviate a little bit here, a little bit there. That's exactly what happened, but we're back on track, and it deviated based on a mainstream headline that had to do with possible the United States going to war, right? And so they technically did for a short period of time, but that to me is different than just organically just falling off, right? So I think the comeback here from the deviation, it looks strong. I think we continue, with this up. Now, will there be a pullback after we get hyper aggressive, even if the money supply is up? Yeah, we might have another deviation, but it could be a short-lived one. We get to 130 maybe for half of the month of August, the second half, or maybe the first part of September, we see a pullback to 110, 115. That's okay, because I think we all expect it to get back on track with the M2 supply again if it deviates and to finish the year out.
Yeah, 100%. And like, so with every deviation, it still followed a trend, right? Like this deviation back here, it still followed the trend. This deviation back here, it still followed the trend. This deviation here, right? It still followed the trend. So let's just say we do deviate, right? We do deviate a little bit. I mean, that's still potentially 140 by September. I think we're all very happy with 140 by September, right? So, and that's like the worst case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. So, 140 by September, and then you got October, November, December, really Q4 starting at that point.
Yeah.
You have those 3 months to really set that strong finish to the second half of 2025.
100%. And like, so that was Colin's chart. This is his other chart that he's been following. He's basically said breakout confirmed, guys. His target is 150. Looks like by the end of August. So again, another chart that confirmed like he's just not all in on just the M2 money supply. I mean, that's one of the charts that he's truly been following. But this is another one. I mean, this is the perfect inverse head and shoulders that I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, it completed the full arm length now. So he's basically saying it's going to complete the arm and just go up to 148. I love this chart.
I love this chart too. I think everybody that wants bullishness loves this chart. Bears hate this chart, obviously, right? But But yeah, it looks good. It looks beautiful. You know, it follows with the M2 supply. You got a good inverted head and shoulders here pattern. So it's kind of, you know, a lot of times what you'll do is you'll look for patterns. You'll look for technical analysis that really helps your thesis, your case, right, in terms of where you believe Bitcoin's going to go. And the more that you can find, the more formidable that thesis is. And I think that's where Colin is right now.
Yeah, 100%. He's definitely been like the breakout like chartist of this cycle for sure. I mean, especially with the M2 money supply. But there's been another chart that I've been following pretty closely. This is the Bitcoin stock to flow. I know I kind of gave up on it a little bit with showing it. I've still been following it personally every single day. But again, so this, you know, we're at 117, so that's this line. So let's just say the month of July ends and we're pretty much where we're at now. We finally get some breakout. We finally get some distance between circle to circle. We're going to be showing right here, but I think, you know, potentially, you know, by the end of this month, we're going to be up here. We're going to be up at 130, 140, and potentially have that separation that I think we deserve, honestly. And I think we're about to get some separation here that's going to push this chart up one, and then set us up to potentially by 2026, the end of 2025, early 2026, have that dot that's a 700K. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's about time that we get that separation, right? It's been so clumped up. And if you look at the previous cycles, I mean, that clump typically doesn't last as long as we've lasted here. So it's almost like a pent-up demand for the separation as well. So it might be a pretty big gap, you know, because it's been so long. So that's going to be exciting to see where that next pin goes for that next dot.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. I Plan B. He's been somebody that I've been following this chart since the 2020. I've been following this chart since back here. So really excited to see this thing kind of propel up, and I think we're gonna get that for sure. And then my chart that I've been following, right? So this is just the, you know, the DXY. You know, so right now, if you look at it, we've got like an upward momentum, right? But every single time before a huge dip, let's go back to 2020 here. We usually see, let me zoom out. Yeah, so every single time before we have that last dip, we see a huge pump up, and it's kind of what we're seeing now before the last dip. I call it the last pump before the dump, and you know, it does look like we're about to be in that last pump before a dump here. So I'm thinking right now, DXY is going to firmly drop potentially by September back into this range of bull market, just like we've seen over and over and over. Same thing, guys. I mean, I think we should really be paying attention to this because it is something every single time. Look at this, 17, 18, bull market like we've never seen before. Same thing here. It was double the size of that one, and I think we potentially could see maybe even double the size of this one, taking us into 2027. But I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for a lot of different reasons. A lot of different charts are all saying the same thing. It's bull season.
Yeah, it's bull season, and that time frame pretty much starts on the CPI day, right? Like you're talking about July 15th. Yeah. If you look at the previous two cycles, it's never on the same day, but it's in this kind of gap between July 15th to July 30th or 25th, I think it is. Something like that, right? So next week, really hoping for some good CPI because that's whenever things could really start to take off. Now, I don't know how the CPI is going to, if that's going to, you know, encourage the dollar to drop, but like my point is that's the time frame it usually happens. So we'll see if it correlates again for the third cycle in a row.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just getting under here. I mean, isn't that crazy though? July 2020 was DeFi summer, right? And then you have July 2017, which really started off that bull run, right? We saw markets peak in December, and then same here with 2020, we saw the markets peak a year after. Right, so it like doubled the size of the bull run. So July 17 broke under, July 2020 broke under, July 2021. Can we get a break under? I mean, it would be absolutely amazing, and it would correlate perfectly to this was an 8-month bull run. This was from July 2020 to September, really. But a lot of people do say that, you know, when we hit November 2021, it was basically manipulated that high, but we did see it. You know, we saw it get back over in November 2021, and the bull market was over just like that. So this is like the ultimate support band right here. So if we all stay under, we're good. We pop above, it's over. Time to get out.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, you could use that as an indicator to say, hey, it's time to make sure I make my profits and all that stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But let's kind of get into why, Bitcoin rockets past 118 for the new record high, right? There is some stuff here. So fresh U.S. tariffs and global trade frictions have hit currency markets, driving investors toward alternative stores of value. Bitcoin's resilience amid the dollar volatility helped push it to its new high. Those tariff update, market ignores latest tariff threats. Trump threatened a 35% tariff on some Canadian goods. Trump considers blanket tariffs of 15 to 20% of most trading partners. So Bitcoin is ignoring this. Why do you think Bitcoin, or maybe it's not? Maybe it's taking this as an advantage.
Yeah, so I feel like for the tariff stuff, like I mentioned, I think like last week that Bitcoin initially did have some volatility moves with the tariff headlines alongside of the TradFi markets, right? And eventually Bitcoin started to really be callous to the tariff stuff and kind of push through it. Maybe a slight volatility move to the downside, but then like retracement would happen, or like catching back up would happen very quickly. So I feel like Bitcoin's starting to become a bit numb to the tariff stuff, and maybe if there's like a new style of like bad news, like for example the Iran and U.S. news, that was obviously new. It was something that like we hadn't seen. I think that can maybe really jerk the price around a bit more. But right now, like Bitcoin's looking strong when it comes to the tariff talk. So I'm expecting this kind of reaction to go moving forward, actually.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So I guess we are seeing the S&P 500 down 0.3 today. We are seeing the Dow Jones down 0.7 today, but it was up 0.4 pre-market. So we're seeing those markets really get hit today. We're seeing the DXY climbing up to 97. So 97.8. So that's the DXY is going up while the S&P and DJI are dropping, which basically shows me that they're coming out of stocks and bonds and going into the dollar a little bit. But we see Bitcoin just being strong, 117,769. Every dip's being pulled up. So I don't know. I'm really excited, but the majority of the price action has been these ETFs. US spot Bitcoin ETF saw 1.18 billion in net inflows on July 10th, marking it as a sixth straight day of positive flows and pushing cumulative ETF assets past 50 billion. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. The Bitcoin ETF has been the strongest ETF ever.
Yeah, it's set records for sure. It's definitely the best performing ETF in history, right? So that's big. That is still creating those type of inflows. And Ethereum ETFs are starting to build up their inflows as well. So this is a emerging market, right? It's new to TradFi. It's not new to us, and so they're probably looking to they're a little giddy. I feel like they know where they feel like Bitcoin is headed. We had evidence of pretty much that yesterday with that enormous short squeeze that we can get into later. It was weird. It's like almost like they saved up all the ETF purchases and said, okay, we're squeezing you guys now. No, but I'm just joking there. But what I'm saying is that this is something that institutions are buying into. They completely believe in it now. They believe in Bitcoin. They are starting to really believe in Ethereum, and I think Ethereum has the next strong move up. When does that happen? That's the question, right? Bitcoin, amazing performance so far. We will probably see more amazing performances from Bitcoin. Now it's kind of like, what else do they believe in besides Bitcoin? We know Ethereum's on the table for a lot of them. What does that look like once they like really offload into Ethereum? Does it really bring it to that next level? And then after Ethereum, what does that look like? So this is kind of like discovery zone for like a lot of these institutions, and for us too to kind of learn about them. What are they interested in?
Yeah, 100%. And so we're over the course of the last 6 days, we saw the Bitcoin ETF, like a lot of money pouring into there. But yesterday was the first day that blockchain data showed heightened network activity and continued accumulation by long-term holders. So it does seem like a lot of the long-term holders were selling to the ETF. But yesterday, at all-time highs of 116, they were buying. Long-term holders, people that have hundreds and hundreds of Bitcoin, were buying yesterday and not selling. I mean, I think they think they messed up. I think they feel like, hey, like we sold a little too early here. It's the same people that were selling last month or the same people that are buying yesterday.
It's kind of like the miners, right? Those miners that are in the top 4, there's 2 in the middle, or 3 maybe, and they're not selling their Bitcoin. They're actually buying more Bitcoin, even though they're mining Bitcoin, right? So they learned that, okay, this cycle is different. Institutions are coming in. We typically will sell some of our mined Bitcoin for expenses or this and that profit taking. They're not doing that at all. In fact, they're buying more. So I think some of these whales that are, and we reported on this yesterday, the ones that are holding the most are anywhere between, was it 1,000 and 10,000 Bitcoin or something like that?
They're the ones that are buying.
They're buying and holding. The ones that were selling, which this might start to turn around, were kind of that entry level, like, yeah, you're decent, you're in a good position, you have 1 to 10 Bitcoin, but they're taking profit. But that could very quickly turn around, as they're seeing this run up isn't a quick tag that I was talking about the other day. You know, I kind of hated Thursday because of the quick tag, and I was like, oh crap, we're gonna probably retrace 10K because we've seen this last summer. No, it actually trucked on. Next day, doubled down. We had a $5,000 $6,000 jump in one day. You know, so that's huge, and we'll see if this continues. Friday's tricky though. Today is a tricky day, and then we're heading into weekend. And I think maybe, like, you know, there's going to be a little bit of back and forth to not make everybody think, oh, so we're going straight to 150 right now. But next week could make us feel that way. It's going to be interesting to see how next week plays. Next week is so important.
Well, next week's called Crypto Week, right? And the House of Representatives is officially set for Monday, July 14th through Friday, July 18th. I mean, that's the whole week. We're at 118 potentially, and we're about to enter Crypto Week, where we're going to get the Genius Act is going to be voted on. There's a bunch of other acts that are going to be voted on as well. Trump, the president of the United States, is calling this Crypto Week. I mean, this is crazy that potentially next week could be the biggest week ever for crypto.
It could be, and I think it will be. The only thing is the CPI data, but I think someone in our chat also gave us a link to be careful when you click links. But he says this has to do with this. You can get a sense of the CPI readings, but I think it's going to be positive just because of what we saw from the jobs numbers. I don't think he wants this to be like the perfect scenario. He doesn't want anything to mess this up for next week, right? But yeah, next week could be huge, right? And maybe that's whenever Ethereum says, okay, it's time to turbocharge and, kind of take our own path a bit away from Bitcoin.
Yeah, what happens next week though if it comes in at like 1.9? And you know what I mean, or some crazy stuff that
no excuses,
right? And then let's take a look real quick at Polymarket. So I think this is about to change. I think right now we see 95% chance of no change. I think by Wednesday at like 9 a.m. we might see this closer to 60. I think this drops heavily, and I think it's going to go to here. I even think the 50 BPS is going to be on the table potentially for September. I really do. And right now, if we look at September, we're seeing basically a 50-50 shot, more than that, a 56% chance of a cut. People are heavily pushing now for 6%. This is going up from 1% to 6% in the last couple of days, and people are getting out of no change and going into 50%. It's pretty wild how quickly this is going to change. But I think this is going to be 70 to 80% next week for September, and potentially this July one could potentially move closer in. So this is the big one to watch for me. I think this gets closer and closer to a 25% chance. And we have Fed people coming out and saying, yo, we think it's time for a cut in July. And Polymarket says they're just talking.
Yeah, and the CPI data can really put pressure on them, right? So the CPI numbers can be really big, and dude, like next week could be crazy. So next week could actually fulfill Collins' kind of destiny of Bitcoin for that inverted head and shoulders, getting to 150. Yeah. I mean, I know that sounds crazy to say 118 to 150 in 1 week, but it could happen. It could happen next week. Everything go perfectly well, according to plan. All these things get passed. Genius Act's going to get on his desk to sign. The only people that are really trying to throw a wrench in all this is the anti-crypto army, which is Maxine Waters and Elizabeth Warren, which accumulated their age is probably like 1,000 years old. So I just don't think they have the energy to do anything with that. But I think next week could be huge.
Yeah, they barely have enough energy to get out of bed. I mean, those old women just gotta do what they gotta do. I mean, it doesn't matter. Their voices are so silent now. They've been so wrong for so long that it's just like you can't even take what they say seriously anymore. But yesterday, so me and you seen a short squeeze live. We never pictured it. Not live.
Twice.
We were Twice. It was twice. So it was like during the show, we seen a push up to 114, and then later that night we saw we were in a meeting with one of our partners, and it shot up to like 119 during that meeting. It was absolutely insane. Or 116 because I hit 118 overnight. But it was pretty wild. But so 2.4 in shorts were liquidated July 10th, the largest daily wipeout in 4 years, as BTC surged past 118 to all-time high. So it happened all night. It was just absolutely insane. And then they have this here. This is the liquidations, just insanity, just total craziness, and potentially taking us over 120 with another short squeeze. That would be amazing.
Yeah, the shorts opportunity to squeeze or liquidate the shorts is still not done. There's a target there at like 105 million at like 119,400, right? So there's some stuff building up for sure on the downside as well for the long liquidations at 115. But you know, I wouldn't be shocked if maybe something happens later today or tomorrow to try to catch some of that. But it's pretty far from where we are right now. Not really. We're kind of in the middle of both. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but yesterday that was historical, right? Liquidating all those bears must have been like crying, because $2.42 billion in shorts. I mean, goodness gracious, it almost feels like it was like an event that they all had planned. Like these market makers that said, we're gonna wipe them all out here because everybody's crying that like there's all these shorts that are building up at these price points that could be liquidated, and they wiped them all out in one night.
And it's good though, because like the shorts were just getting too comfortable. It was almost too easy to short Bitcoin over the last 6 months. It was just like every single time that it did anything good, it immediately got shorted back down. And those guys were kind of expecting the same thing. It feels like at 114, they were expecting a push back down to 111. So they went short again, and they got hit hard. Every single time they tried to short yesterday, they got hit hard and hard. And it finally feels good, because that was that's what happened to the longs. Every single time someone take out a long, they would get hit, and they would get hit, and they would get hit. And now it's happening to the shorts. And I think this continues over the next 6 months, guys, where it's going to be hard for people to short again. And that's when you kind of know the bull run is over, when people are afraid to take a short. But I think that doesn't happen for a long time.
Yeah, we'll see when that happens, but I'm definitely preparing my mind mentally though, because you learn from previous cycles, like, okay, like when everybody's just like cheersing and there's so much like celebration, then you got to be like, okay, this is a little too much. Let me prepare. But we don't know what the cycle is going to be like. You know, this is there's different elements to the cycle. We're going to learn after this year what 2026 looks like, 2027. Yeah. It could change things with the institutions here.
100%. Let's take a look at coin market cap here real quick. So Bitcoin up, right? You get 5%, Ethereum up 7%. That's kind of what we want to see. You have XRP, bro, up 17.45%. Like it is getting hard to kind of be bearish on XRP anymore, especially because the XRPL, which is the EVM sidechain now, that is like going to be landing on the XRP ledger. I don't know, man. The RLUSD, it's really getting hard to be bearish on XRP anymore. I mean, these crazy people might be right. This might be going to $10.
Ooh, yeah, that's the first group of crazy people, and then you have the other group that's talking about thousands, but they're crazy, right? But yeah, so these percentage gains here, this is really solid. I was listening to Spaces earlier, and it was somebody, he's probably not too fond of XRP, but he was saying, and I think he has a point, whenever the times are bullish, like XRP has like the best organic marketing groups on like streaming service, like TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, right? So they're the ones that are like, hey, this can go to like $1,000 because of this, and people just a lot of people that are normies are unit biased. They're unit biased because they can't afford $117,000 Bitcoin. So when they see a $2.88 XRP, they're attracted to that, not knowing kind of the market structure with tokenomics and stuff like that, so it's easy to sell them or paint this picture that, hey, this is going to $1,000 and you're in early, when in actuality $10 would be a huge win for that token. So
yeah, it's a 3x. I mean, that puts it, a 10x from here puts it potentially above Ethereum. XRP is 1/3 or 1/4 of Ethereum right now, which is crazy to me, right? No, I'm sorry. XRP is about half of because market cap here.
Oh,
gotcha.
Of
so if it just doubled, it's getting close to Ethereum. So a $5 or $6 XRP puts it at the second largest coin in the world.
Would that shock you, dude?
If XRP became number 2,
Yeah.
well, not real. So XRP missed the entire bull run last year.
Yeah,
I mean, last cycle, right? It missed the entire bull run. It barely got above. I mean, this is the highest it's been since 2017, right? I mean, easily. So I don't know, man. You know, when something is held down like that, I mean, it's like it becomes like a spring, man. This thing could really hop to $6-7 this year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's definitely that pent up demand there because it was hard last cycle to kind of recruit the normies a bit because of the whole case that they were going with the SEC. Did they win? Did they not? It was like hanging over their head like a piano, right? And but once they did win that and stuff, now this is the bull market really that I think it could go in effect. That marketing that they're used to, like from 2019, 2018, 17, all that stuff is that's where I think they can really, that's what they're best at, right? Is painting these pictures. And I think they're going to do that again. But okay, so I do think that would be not a good look for Ethereum if they do get that number 2 spot. So I think there's a lot of stuff that's happening with Ethereum right now. There's a lot of interest in terms of Ethereum success for large entities and stuff like that. So don't be shocked if there's like some big moves or news headlines with Ethereum and just big money moving in there, because they definitely want to keep that number 2 spot. You lose that, that's not good.
Yeah. 100%, dude. And the 3 tokens they talk most about getting an ETF going in are XRP, Dogecoin, and Cardano. Look at all 3 of these. Cardano up 22% over the last 24 hours. Dogecoin up 14% over the last 24 hours. And then you have XRP up almost 19%. 24 hours, man. This is insane because XRP, Cardano, and Dogecoin are the 3 coins talked about on all the bigger YouTube channels, right? Crypto Banter, Discover Crypto, the Investing Bros, right? Jeb's channel. The 3 coins they talk most about are XRP, Cardano, and Dogecoin, besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, of course.
Yeah, no, I mean, those are pretty much, Solana's talked about in there, but
I think Solana's not getting the push that these other guys are getting.
I think they got their push in Q4 of last year. They hit that all-time high of it was pretty crazy, actually. Could you pull that up? If you click on it, it should show you like what they hit. But I want to say they hit some. They didn't get above like 270. Did they get to 400? No.
So like I'm showing 251.
Okay.
On the 24th of January.
I'm at 300. Yeah. Okay. So they didn't get to 300. Okay. So that's where, yeah. So, but also you got to remember right now, Ethereum's battling 3,000, right? So whenever Solana was knocking on the door of that 250 and getting closer there, I think Ethereum was probably at like 3,500, working its way to 4,000 as well. So I don't know why they're not getting the push. Maybe they got that early push last Q4, but I think they catch up. I would imagine they would. But right now, it's a different energy with Solana a little bit. The ecosystem, right? The pump fund stuff is like old. They're doing this ICO with pump, and I don't think it's getting the attention they hope for or the right attention. And so it seems like Solana is a little bit like, okay, that was last year. Let's see what's happening this cycle. Ethereum, it could be Ethereum's time to shine and be like, okay, now it's our time to really do something, which it would be okay if they skipped down last year and they really thrive right now. I think for a lot of these ETH bag holders.
I think what you just mentioned is right. I think there's a lot of people sitting in cash right now on the sideline for the Solana bulls that want to get this pump fund. They want to get in pump fund, right? We do know that pump fund is going live tomorrow. It is the token is going to be launched on, what is it? Bybit. It will be on Bybit. Bybit won the proposal. They will be the launch pad for this token, and then you're going to see people buy it, withdraw it, and send it to exchange and put it LP pools. The first LP pool is going to be probably insane, and you're probably going to see a lot of Solana kind of get dumped tomorrow, and I think people are preparing for that. So I think you definitely hit it on the nose there, why Solana maybe not be moving like Ethereum, like XRP, and Dogecoin. And I'm crying over here because of it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. But so that's the markets, right? But let's get into the more degen markets here. So if you guys go over to the Bitcoin ecosystem, because I know a lot of our viewers here love the Bitcoin ecosystem. You have the node monkeys up 25%, the quantum cats up 70%, puppets. Dude, this is absolutely insane. This is crazy to me because usually when Bitcoin pumps, every time Bitcoin pumps, you see the ordinals get hit the hardest because they are priced in Bitcoin and people want to get their Bitcoin back for the pump. Not this time. People are actually selling their Bitcoin at all-time highs and getting into assets like Node Monkeys, Quantum Cats, Puppets, MaxiBiz, Taproot Wizards, Runestones are up, Bitcoin Punks, and and Frog's the only ones that are down. But how do you feel about this pump right now?
Yeah, I love it. Ordinals definitely deserve a pump. The people, especially that have been day in and day out with ordinals. It's been a tough summer, a really tough summer and really tough year, if you want to be honest. But some of these gains are pretty, large. You see that Quantum Cast up 71%. Node Monks definitely needed a bounce back, up 25.5%. But yeah, this is interesting to see. You're absolutely right. And typically, if it does pour into like the Bitcoin ecosystem, it hits fungibles only first, and then maybe like it will trickle out into ordinals. But look, you see my hat, ordinals. This is, we have a soft place in our heart for ordinals. It's kind of where we started our content creation journey, and so it's good to see that ordinals as a marketplace is bouncing back. They need this. And so if you're in the ordinals community, dude, thrive on this. Take screenshots of this. Tell people about it on crypto Twitter. Get that out there, because the energy is going to come from the communities. And I say that same kind of spiel to the runes communities, because your time is now. It's not 2 weeks from now. You got to start now. You got to grind now.
But yeah, I'm 100%. I think getting these assets now at $4,000, $3,000, I think, wow, man, we're gonna see potentially a 10x here. Maybe not against Bitcoin, but against the US dollar. I think a lot of these assets here 10x. I think you potentially see Node Monkeys at like $36,000. Potentially see Quantum Cats over 40,000 again. Bitcoin Puppets, the same thing. I think we're about to see huge momentum. A lot of people are going to be looking at assets on the Bitcoin blockchain. Let's talk about more of them, right? Let's get into some runes here. We do know that runes are the top meme coins on the top coins, period, on Bitcoin. You have dogs sitting at $500 million. Just crossed over there today. Just got over that 0.005 mark. And there is a reason for that, right? There's actually a company that is buying some dog up. And I think they're called, there's right here, C2 Blockchain Incorporated. We don't just talk dog, we back it. CBLO holds 19,922 dog coins, all live in treasury. They actually have a site here where you can actually go and see how many coins they have. And it does look like they have more now. So now they have 21 million. So they're buying now. This is crazy, bro, that we have a company on the stock market that is buying, and their only meme coin they hold is dog.
Yeah, that is awesome. And they, like you mentioned, they just picked up another, I think almost 2 million or something like that. So dude, and I have a feeling this is like one of those companies that maybe Vincent, Cryptolution 101, had been kind of working with before, or talking to at least about it. And so for them to, number one, commit to creating this dog strategic reserve is awesome. Right. No other runes has anything like that. And then to post like a live kind of balance update, that's awesome, dude. Like, you can check, and like you said, publicly traded. There's investors that invest in this. It's a public company, right? So this is another reason why you and I kind of came up with this mindset that dog is the ultimate social meme of the cycle, right? You see their social footprint. They're very strategic organically too. It's not like big money came in and said, hey, hire a bunch of foot soldiers and go have them go around. No, these are people that are invested in dog, and definitely invested in the community as well. And dog is the top. I mean, there's no denying it. When you look at cookie.fun and you look at the past, all this 2025, they're number one when it comes to meme mindshare.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And to have a goal like this, 200 million dog. I mean, this is achievable. Do you think it's achievable by them?
I do. I think it's they're trying to get to, sorry, what number did you say? 101 million?
200 right here, target.
Okay, 200 million. Yeah, so oh man, the only problem is if it keeps going up, right? It's gonna be harder. But like,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
they could pull a sailor. They could
buy
pull
the top.
Dude, what if they like came out? We're like, we're offering like shares of our company to buy more dog. That would be hilarious. No, but 200 million, that is a lot. I think that, look, if they put that goal there, they put it there for a reason. If they accomplish that, they're goated in the dog community for. I mean, they're pretty much goated now as a company in the dog community, but.
C2 will always be, they'll always have a part. But what if they're right? What if dog does go to $100 million?
I'll be very happy.
$100 million market cap, right? I mean, we're talking a 200x from here. Definitely possible. Look at this though. They have this chart here, and they, they're still buying half price from the all-time high. So there's, let's just say it does double from here. I mean, obviously, the amount of money that is in dog, it doubles as well. I mean, this company, man, it's awesome because we're not seeing no company buy ORDI. We're not seeing no company buy Sats, right? We're seeing this happen with dog, which is a free and fair airdrop. There's no we know that with ORDI, we still believe that Unisat holds majority of that. I mean, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but I think it's really a cabal of people that hold a majority of that. With you're seeing it on Twitter that there is no one that really holds like over 3% of dog. And but ORDI, I mean, I'm sure there's like 10 people that hold majority of ORDI.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the analytics on chain with that, but I think ORDI is going to be strong. But like dog, we just haven't seen this in the Bitcoin ecosystem, the social viral effect of a meme coin or fungible over here like dog. When I talk about dog or I hear about dog on crypto Twitter, I think about some of those conversations I had from last cycle with people that were like, oh, he was an early SHIB guy, or he was an early, he was really early on Doge and just held it all the way through the ups and downs of it. I think about that with dog because of the social impact that it's already had. SHIB already started having that social impact whenever I would be like, and this was like, I'm talking about, this was late 2020, I think, whenever someone would be like, oh, he was early on SHIB. Imagine like that, like, how much more she like grew in 2021, right? So dog has so much upside because of that. And I feel like we're going to be saying that like, oh yeah, I was early in dog, or, he was early in dog, and we can reflect and be like, oh shit, that was similar to like last cycle with SHIB.
Yeah, 100%. But think about SHIB at 500 million. I mean, it like 20x from there. It hit like $40 billion. It was something crazy. And potentially right now, I mean, dog, that right now that would be an 80x for dog at 40 billion, which is definitely possible.
Yeah, and you said this before. Myself actually had a great comment here. He said, I'm into all kinds of coins, but dog is the only that I share with my friends and family. And you said 100%. You probably won't share very much runes or anything with anybody that's your friends or family, but dog, you don't have that fear because you know it won't go to zero.
Yep, 100%. There's no chance it goes to zero. I mean, I think the lows are in for dog. I don't think we'll ever see those numbers ever again. So I was talking to someone who got in at 0.003, and they're super happy. They messaged me this morning. They said, "Oh wow, dog's running." So that they almost doubled their money, right? I mean, and I was like, "Hey, if you wanted to, you could pull that out, put that back in Bitcoin, and then have a moon bag." And they said, "No, I'm holding." I was like, "Good for you." Bro.
I thought you were gonna say if you wanted to, you could. Here's my address. You could send me some. No, I'm just
kidding. No. I meant it like, hey, like you could. This is a no risk trade for you anymore. You can take out your initial, and ride this thing to the moon. You have no risk anymore because you can put that back in Bitcoin. But he said no. He said no. I'm holding. I was like, good for you. But let's get into the crypto fear and greed. This chart to me is so bullish because it is so low. So I was expecting to be in the 70s. That's my hint for you. We're not far from there, but I feel like this is still a chart that has 66? A lot of room to run. Pretty much, right there, 67. Pretty much. Yesterday was 58. Last week was a 55. I think this is so low. I think this is way too low. 67 feels like you're lying to me right now. The amount of people I see on X's timeline, you're lying to me right now. There's no way we're at 67. Where do you think we were going to be at tonight?
Well, there was a statement on that Spaces I heard earlier today that said this push up with Bitcoin is not getting the euphoria that like it deserves on crypto Twitter right now. That's what he said, and I think partially he's right. It's not like I mean, imagine we drove up $6,000 yesterday in one day, so that's a significant jump up. But like, yes, the people that have been here, yes, they're posting stuff on crypto Twitter, but I get what he's saying. There's not like this euphoria of like. Some new people have come back, but it's not like a slew yet. But he's thinking that something like next week could create that. So this number, to me, I think this is okay.
Really?
Like actual face value, I think it should be in the 70s. So I agree with you there. But according to what we're seeing on crypto Twitter, I think it makes sense.
So I'm gonna give you a higher or lower number going into 8 o'clock tonight. 75. Higher or lower?
I'm gonna say lower.
Yeah, really. I'll take the opposite side of that. I'll go. So I think.
Oh, you know what though? The reason why, so the reason why I might change my opinion is because of the time that the score was released yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll stick with lower. I think even so, like, you know, maybe we pull back some today to like 116.5 or high 116s and people just kind of pull that back down, maybe 72, 73. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see for sure. But let's get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura. We do know Artura. They're getting ready, guys. It's probably going to be next week. They're going to go live, and we are super excited for them because right now they're working out the kinks. They're cleaning it up. They're making it look good. But these guys are excited right now. Every time we talk to them, they just seem so ready. And we're going to be making tutorial videos for you guys to get ready. So when it does drop, you will have full walkthrough on how to get PUSD, on how to get everything you need to start trading on Artura to potentially be a part of this this points program that they have. And you're going to want to be a part of that points program for a lot of different reasons. It's going to be very, very soon when they do their thing, guys. And we are excited for them. So we want our community to win. We want you guys to be a part of this. Take advantage of that because not only will you be potentially earning the ARA token, but there's a chance that you're going to get Bitcoin from the Botonics ecosystem as well. We do know Botonics is incentivizing you right now to go over to Botonics and use their chain. So use it, guys. Get that free Bitcoin. There's no reason not to. And when you're doing that, use Artura. Low leverage, low money. Get some free airdrops there, guys. Definitely. And then remember, they're also going to be on Hemi. Hemi is backed by Binance. Potentially, Hemi's going to list. Binance might be listing the Hemi token when they do their TGE. And how can you get the Hemi token? Well, when you use Artura on their mainnet, you potentially get the ARA token and the Hemi, guys. This is a really exciting opportunity for our community here. We want you guys to win and we want you guys to get that free money. So check out Artura.finance.
Absolutely. Super excited for what they got going on. But before we get into the Bitcoin price action, help us out today, guys. The energy should be up. I know it's a Friday and Fridays sometimes is chill, but Bitcoin is thriving, right? And the markets seem like they are responding in a positive way. So on the YouTube side, first of all, make sure you sub to the channel. Secondly, turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. And third, everybody on the YouTube side, go hit that like for us. On X, hit that like as well. Share this space. We want to get more people in here to just educate and onboard as many people to our industry and space. And then Abstract as well. We love you guys on the Abstract side. Share that stream for us. Let's jump into some Bitcoin price action. All right, let's take a look here on the hour chart. So we are seeing a start to a little bit of a pullback, which, I mean, I think it's fair that we're having this. We had 3 pretty strong legs up, you know, starting from Thursday, 8 a.m., really the morning of Thursday, we started this ascent up, right? Now are we going to start a descent? Are we going to kind of, you know, pull back? And if we do, how aggressive is it going to be? You know, I wouldn't be shocked if we do pull back. We like I mentioned, you know, this was a lot of positive price action. You're talking about going from 110 all the way to 119, so $9,000 since Thursday morning. So let's take a look at the indicators here. Okay, the MACD looks like it is, you know, starting to build up some strong sell pressure on Bitcoin. Now, will this affect other markets? We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But for Bitcoin, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if we do pull back, you know, to 116.5, high 116s heading into the weekend. You see the aggressive sell down right now starting to happen, right? You know, they did liquidate all those shorts. So, you know, there's probably a lot of greedy longs that got placed and they got to hit those, you know, like we always say, it is a business for the market makers. But let's take a look here. The stochastics, we have been in oversold territory, you know, since 7 a.m. today. No shocker there, right? So, you know, that is what I'm expecting. I am expecting probably a pullback, which is fine because we got to 119. Now, how far we pull back, that is the question. Let's take a look at, let's take a look at a little bit of the support and resistance too in the local levels here, going from this morning, 4 a.m. Okay, let's take a look at that. So we'll pull this down here kind of see where we are. All right, yeah, it's definitely start to build up some sell pressure momentum here. You can see right here, yeah, the resistance is just overpowering the support at this level. At the now it just jumped down again, right? So and it's really overpowering. So we'll probably go into a little bit of a free fall, I think here. You know how far we're gonna bleed, yeah. So that's something that I think we all got to be paying attention to, especially if you're trying to take leverage, right? You got to be careful in this situation of how much we went up here. Yeah, so be careful. You can see it's kind of free falling right now. So this is kind of giving support to what I was saying. Some downtrend happening today. Let's take a look here at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour has some life left in it, but you know that could get sucked out here. We see that 1 hour just really kind of driving the price down right now. Does that kill the buy pressure momentum completely? We're gonna have to have some consistent, you know, price sell-off happen on the 1-hour chart for this to happen. You know, next 4 to 6 hours, if that happens, we could start to try to close this up. But if we just get, you know, some sell pressure in the next 2 to 4 hours, that's not crazy. We're not like, you know, bulldozing through 116, getting to 115. We just kind of hang around 116.5 to the high 116 area. Then I think we'll be fine. We'll have some life left here in the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart looks great, you know, from what we had, but we got to see what happens on that shorter time frame, right? So let's give it a couple, let's give it about 2, 4, 6 hours to see how this turns out here. So that's what I'm going to be focused on. The daily looks good. We opened it back up, right? If you look at some similar kind of MACD indicator situations to what we have experienced, which was some buy pressure that looked like it was going to exhaust into very strong buy pressure, right? So it's really hard to see. I guess the closest thing you would see is like this buy pressure kind of really closing up, flipping, and then going strong. So that's the closest thing you can see. And right here, you saw that it was really strong, like 4 or 5 legs up here. So we could start to experience something like that, right? And that makes sense to get to the 120 to 130 range before the end of July, or perhaps the very beginning of August. So the daily looks good. Taking a quick look here at the weekly is going to obviously look good because our week has been a great week. If you really think about it, how are we going to end on Sunday? That's going to be very important. It's still going to be a green candle, of course, unless we have some like huge bomb happening, like in terms of a headline or something on Sunday. So I think we'll still have a green candle. We're looking good for the setup. Still, maybe this is where it starts. I've mentioned that this right here, this area time frame looks very familiar to this time frame. What happened right here? I have it circled from previous times looking at this chart. What happened right here? We went sideways and we started that second leg up. Well, it looks very similar to me. We went sideways and now perhaps starting the second leg up. So, you know, that's just kind of a pattern recognition there. That's something similar. So the weekly chart looks great there for Bitcoin. This looks really good for others too. Now, I do think that we need to see some strength from Ethereum right here. This would be a perfect opportunity. So the others chart, thank you, myself, kind of showing me the others chart here, but this is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10, right? So what is it going to do? It's going to kind of have a delayed tailing of Bitcoin until Ethereum says, okay, I'm going off on my own Bitcoin. You might be pulling back, but it's time for my time in the spotlight to shine, right? And if that happens, the others will start to really follow that. So that's what we're taking a look at here. The others looks pretty good so far. Obviously, that's because Bitcoin had such a great day yesterday, and it really told that. Now we'll be watching Ethereum to see if this kind of starts to follow Ethereum, if Ethereum does its own thing there. All right, taking a look at the crypto bubbles, which looks really good. It looks really green, and we love green. Yeah, so let's go to the top 100 here. Pulling this up right now. I gotta really look into M. M is up 124%. Crazy. XLM up. What's up?
What is it?
Meme core. Meme core is
Okay.
what it is. So it's something that is catching a lot of momentum, that's for sure. XLM is up 29.5%. Say is up 20.7%. Caspa is up 12.5%. Jupiter up 10.5%. Starting to get pretty bullish on Jupiter. There's some stuff that's happening within infrastructure on Solana. I feel like they are definitely looking strong here. HBAR up 14.7%. You see the Ton Network up 4.3%. Algorand up 19.1%. ICP. So some of these, like OG tokens that have been, whenever they pull up, they're really minimal. They're starting to look a little stronger. ICP up 8.5%. You see Tron up 3%. Fartcoin up 12.3%. It's always a good day when Fartcoin is up. a lot. SHIB is up 10.1%. So the memes are looking really good here. Doge up 13.6%. That's a big day for Doge. Dogwoof Hat up 5.8%. Pepe up 15.9%. You got Pith up 13.4%. Pith is a Chainlink competitor. They do Oracle and randomizations, stuff like that. Hyperliquid up 9.3%. Gala up 14.5%. Sonic, a much needed 15.3% increase there. And then you got the Trump token up 10%. Let's take a look here.
Dude, that green just looks phenomenal. Like it feels so good today, man.
It does, doesn't it?
Useless is down, so that's not. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I don't even know what the hell that is.
20.1%, and then you got BSV in the top 200,
wow,
up 6.8%. 1 inch up 37.7%. Let's take a look here. Arrow, which is the DEX servicer for
what you
Coinbase.
do to it?
What do you mean?
It went away. You clicked on it. It went away.
Oh, did it? I don't think I clicked it. What was it up? It was up.
It was, I don't know. I don't know what happened to it, dude. You did you destroyed it.
That's weird. Yeah, it's definitely weird. You see
Maple. Click on something else. I'm curious if that would
Yeah, maybe it hopped out of the 200 and went to the 100.
It might have.
Yeah, that could have happened for sure. You see ApeCoin there, up 8%. Popcat up 11%. Dog Go to the Moon up 13.2%. That's a big win for Dog, but that is going to be Bitcoin and crypto price update action market watch for you guys. Hopefully you guys like that and it helps you guys out.
Yeah, so I jumped in the meme core thing. So this is meme core. Meme core is a creative studio to make memes last forever. Meme 2.0 is the beginning of a viral economy. In Meme 2.0, every click, every trade, every burn counts. I'm not 100% sure what the hell they do, but it looks like there's some basketball cats or something. I don't know, but
basketball cats.
I don't really know, but apparently they're. I don't know. I gotta look more into them, but this is memecore.com, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they're on fire lately, that's for sure.
Dude, what a ticker too. What a ticker. But let's kind of get into the roll call here. Let's see the comments, guys. Get into the comments now. Your last chance to be here, make it here. But let's jump into first is first here. So every single day we track the first comment on YouTube, and that first comment is from my guy Lackey Lukey. He won on Monday. He won on Friday. Shout out to Lackey Lukey, and my friend, it is your win, number 35 on the year, home run number 25 for you. Let me actually show this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this is kind of what we've been tracking here. It goes all the way back until January 1st. And Lackey Lukey has win number 35 of the day. The Webdro won Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with win number 32. He's catching up to Lackey, but Lackey said, nah, that title is mine. So it's a really cool race now between Lackey Lukey and Webdro. Let's see if someone else can actually make this list, guys. I think it's going to be important to get on this list. I think we're going to do something good for everyone to make this list. Lackey Lukey and Webdro, you guys are absolutely nuts and amazing. Shout out to you guys. Tim Baker says bot Lackey. Yeah, Lackey. I don't know if Lackey's a bot. I have no idea. Shout out to Tim Baker, AODR. Hydro Sapien is here. GM, let's go. Lackey Lukey again. Webdro says congrats. Like how they congratulate each other back and forth. It's pretty funny. Choda is here. Shout out to Choda. Danny Boy. Shout out Danny Boy. It's been a while, my friend. I'm glad you are back hanging with us, man. Malam Yuri is here. Abstract is here. Kane99. It's Veda time. Spin Drift is here. Bitcoin is truth. And then my guy, Nighthawk. Congratulations to you. You've been a member with us for 9 months. Absolutely insane. You say, let's effing go. Lambo is here.
Let's go.
May not be on Tuesday. We'll take that any day of the week. GM brothers. Shout out to Nighthawk, man. We really love your support, man. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being a member for 9 months, bro. I think we started the member program, maybe 12 months ago? I don't even remember at this point.
Yeah, I think it's about maybe a little bit more than 12 months.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. Awesome. Satoshi Nakamoto says 120K today. Do you see that possible? Do you think potentially?
I don't know. It's starting to bleed out a bit right now, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But the big boys, we do know that they go to lunch at 11, and we did see a drop off at 11. They usually go to lunch between 11 and 1. So we'll see what happens from that 1 to 4 o'clock. I do think we move up from 1 to 4, but we do need the ES and the Dow Jones to kind of bounce back here. But we'll see. Arita's here. Shout out to Arita. Said to the moon. My guy. I appreciate you, my friend. And then we have Chief Axel is here. Hydrosapien again. Arita says you can look at the turflation. What? Trueflation.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
words. To get a
website.
sense of CPI. Okay, did you check that out by any chance?
No, not yet. I'm gonna check it out though.
Mr. Sheedy is here. He reposted the stream. Shout out to Mr. Sheedy. Mice Elf is here. Shout out to Mice Elf, man, our guy. Really appreciate you being here, myself. Your knowledge is awesome. We love to get you on the show one day as well. Ordinals Watch is here. He said we are going to millions in less than 6 months. That would be insanity. Easily insanity. Stan says if XRP, why not Hex? So the only way Hex can get some separation from stuff and do a couple hundred X's is potentially Richard Hart needs to start live streaming again. If Richard Hart, he's a cult leader, man. He has his words move markets. If he can kind of get back live streaming again, I think Hex could really explode. Myself says SOL ETH ratio downtrending. That is huge. That's huge. But I think that bounces back next week. I do think that like the SOL people are waiting for the pump token. I think that's very solid after, but we'll see. Myself says Dog is number one meme coin with the image generated by AI. I think Dog can reach what Doge is Dog generated by AI?
I think maybe. I mean, I don't think
Okay.
Leonidas like created that image or an artist did. I don't know.
It's definitely it's either AI generated or he took a picture of someone's dog. I don't know, but it could be AI generated. Myself says I'm into all kinds of coins, but Dog is the only I share with friends and family. 100%. I do the same. I won't share anything else. I used to share shit all the time with people. Yo, buy Polkadot, buy this. I will never do that again. It's buy Bitcoin.
It's not smart.
No, not at all,
yeah,
man.
exactly. Even if like they ask now, I'm just kind of like, that's a hard question. Like you need to do your research on some stuff.
Yeah, watch the show. I'll show the show. I'll show the show all day. XRP $3 plus green candles galore. Oh my god, let's effing go soon. $5. Yes, Ricky Ricardo. Tell Lucy to pack her bags, bro, because we're going to the moon. And then we have Malam Yuri says Trevor or Ledger. Trezor or Ledger hardware wallet. It's time where you have to be in stables, which would you use instead of sexes? I've never used a Trezor. I've used a Ledger a lot. There is other ways you can do too. Like there's another thing that I do is I'll download a hot wallet and then just delete it from your computer. If it's deleted from your computer, there's no way they can get in it. Even if your computer gets hacked because it's not there, right? So what you could do is download a wallet, maybe do it from a PC that you don't use for crypto. Send your crypto there, delete the wallet, make sure your words are good, and then when you're ready to sell it that way. But what's your opinion on this, Yago?
Yeah, I agree. Those two options. Ledger, obviously, if you do want to use that, for me personally, if I use a hardware wallet, I'm not using it for anything except for sending stuff to an off ramp or directly peer-to-peer to somebody. I'm not connecting it to any addresses or anything like that. So Ledger, that should be fine. I know they've had some issues, but it was user error. Like you're connecting it to a website. To me, like if you don't do that, you don't run into issues. And then we use Bitcoin hard wallets for Bitcoin. That's more focused on the Bitcoin side. But yeah, other than that, your hot wallet idea is really smart. Just make sure you got those words, you put them in a safe somewhere, or you have access to them. But deleting it pretty much your computer acts as well. I guess that hot wallet acts as kind of like the same thing, right? There's no access to it other than you re-downloading the wallet.
100%. Yeah, I mean, and another thing you can do too, go out, get a cheap $200 HP PC, right? Get a PC, download a wallet there, take it offline. Go down to the turn off Bluetooth, do not connect the internet to it, and now you have that wallet in there, right? You'll have that forever. I mean, you can just keep sending it to it, and it's another way you could do it. Like I think these hardware wallets are kind of they're good, but the sense of being able to connect them to the internet and stuff like that kind of throws a monkey wrench into the whole security part of it. So honestly, you could just use an old laptop that's not connected to the internet anymore. Use the internet that one time, download that wallet, whether it's Unisat or Xverse or MetaMask, and then immediately after you download the wallet, take it offline. Remove the cord or take the Bluetooth off and just be completely done, or not Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi off, and just put that in a safe somewhere and just forget about it. And then write down the words too. If anything does happen to that laptop, you have those words. You can just download it on the wallet and put those words in. So just other ways around that as well. Matt says if Bitcoin hits 130K by the end of July, Yagobi gets a new chair. Oh, he hates your chair, bro. He hates your
I know.
chair.
I hate my chair. I do need a new chair. I do need a new chair. I do yeah, I need a new chair. I'll just say that.
Okay. Stan says, where does the channel YOLO into dog? I use Sats Terminal. It's the best place. So I'm not even like trying to shill you guys. If you go to satsterminal.com, you get that DEX experience. Go to Sat Terminal,
Amber points
app.
Yeah, you get the Amber points, especially if
Yeah,
you're
well,
YOLO.
that's another reason why, right? So you'll go here, you'll click dog, and then you'll have your Bitcoin in your X, and you can use any wallet you want. You got Xverse, Magic Eden, Leather, Oil, OKX, Unisat. I even have Orange wallet, so you can have any of these wallets. Send Bitcoin to those wallets, and you could buy dog right from here. But the big thing is the rewards. So potentially, we think, we're not putting words in their mouth, but we think there's potentially going to be some type of airdrop. And if there is an airdrop, then I think that you're going to get some of the rewards here. But if not, they're going to allow you to do other stuff with these Amber points as well. We're not sure what it's going to be, but we are trying to accumulate as many as possible. So it's a win-win. You get your dog, also you get the Amber points. Use that terminal when you guys are trading your dog for sure.
100%. And the team is off the charts. Like the CTO is crazy. So there's some big stuff coming from that team. But
100%, man. Dog is the one, says Hydro Sapien, man. Appreciate all the comments from you guys. It is the one. But that is your roll call for today. Appreciate every comment every single day, man. 244 you guys in here. Really appreciate you guys coming to hang out with us today. We're going to get into Fluid Friday. So Fluid, we had a meeting with Raul this morning. They are definitely one of the top teams, right?
Yeah. I mean, they've been building over here for over a year. They have the UTXO dev experience. They started off on Cardano. For all you Cardano people listening in right now, you guys know or are familiar with Fluid. So super talented. And look, whenever something's new in the Bitcoin ecosystem, they attack it like a shark. They say, okay, let's build something for this. Let's go. And that's what they've been doing.
100%. We're gonna have Raul next week. He's gonna come in and join us. But they have some really, really big updates for you guys. Again, we want you guys to be a part of this, right? So they do have Alkanes airdrops now. We did talk about this. If you want to build an Alkane project and you want to drop it to your community, let's just say you have an ordinal, and you just take all those ordinal addresses and you can just drop Alkanes to them, or that way you can do it right through this dashboard here. Staking is coming, guys. So we do know that you're going to be able to stake dog in the future and earn potentially methane or another one. So if you guys go to the Fluid site here, Fluid Twitter, you can see here. This is what happens here. So you're gonna unstake your dog, and when you unstake the dog, you get free methane. So the dog is gonna give you free methane. Think about that. You're gonna stake your dog and earn an Alkane, and potentially stake an Alkane and earn dog all through the Fluid website, guys. Super simple, super easy. They're going to have many staking vaults coming. They're talking with many teams right now about getting staking vaults going, and you guys are going to really want to be part of this, because why not, right? It's non-custodian staking. When you stake your dog, when you stake your Alkane or whatever, it is being locked in your own set of wallets. It's a different wallet address, yes, but it's going to be in your wallet. Only you have access to unlock that. Why would they do that? Why would they give you stuff? Well, it's community ran. So it's the community that is donating these coins to you. When Methane does a deal with them to potentially get a staking vault, Methane is giving Fluid tokens for you guys. So why do they do that? Because they want to get as many tokens locked up as possible. That creates TVL. That creates, hey, half the supply is locked up. This is really good for number go up, right? So there's a lot of different reasons why a team would want to have a staking mechanism, even though they're not taking your coins out of your own personal, vault or custody.
Yeah. And if you are a project in the Alkanes community that has a token and you're looking to be a part of this, reach out to Fluid. Go to their Discord. They have a channel over there for like you can open a ticket or you can just ask questions in the support channel there, and they'll get you guys started. They're looking for Alkanes projects that are interested in this because they want to create the season 3 of dog staking to be something really big. So don't hesitate. Get over there. If you guys need some help, reach out to us. We'll help you out.
Yeah. And for you Cardano guys, man, I know there's a lot of people in here from the Cardano community nowadays. They have some pretty amazing stuff coming. They have a dev site now where they have a new way of doing the borrowing and lending on Cardano. Guys, look out for these guys. You see the Fluid token today is freaking skyrocketing. It's skyrocketing for a reason. These guys are the #1 builders, in my opinion, on Cardano and on Bitcoin. Definitely want to be a part of what they're building there, but they have the aquarium as well. Aquarium, it is live now. You can actually do the Babel fees. When you see Charles Hawkinson talking about Babel fees, he's talking about what Fluid is helping build, guys, an area of basically putting your money into a tank and actually getting yield on your Cardano and your FLTT to help people who don't want to use Cardano as gas anymore. They want to use their own token or a different token. Fluid is actually helping them prepare that, guys. Really exciting.
Yeah, and speaking of Aquarium right now, they have 2 updates that they're going to push. So if you're in the Cardano ecosystem as a builder and you pay your team, your devs in ADA, you can utilize the Aquarium platform. They're doing 2 live pushes for Aquarium. And what that's going to be is to basically, one, to not only have to use the address, you can use your employee's handle. So like at Shizzy, Sats, or whatever they decide they want to come up with. So that's the one of them. And then the second one is so there's a different part that's going to have to do with the scaling side. I'll let them kind of explain that a little bit more, but it's going to be Bitcoin access on Cardano. You're going to have more than just ordinals, because right now they're scaling using BitVM for ordinals, but Fluid's going to be providing or attempting to provide the servicing for the Bitcoin side. So you can do Bitcoin stuff. And if they can do that, then you can do runes as well, because it's basically the same concept of how they work.
Yeah, exciting stuff coming from Fluid, guys. They're actually being talked with. They're actually talking to the guys who lead the project over on mess me up. They're actually talking to people on building the oil wallet. They're building Alkanes, right? They're actually going to be potentially working with them to actually kind of push more Alkanes projects out, borrowing, lending, maybe even helping them work on the swap, different types of stuff with staking. Really, really exciting stuff coming from the Fluid team and the Alkanes. If you're a part of the Alkanes community, you should be in their Discord, guys. Join their Discord. This is the Fluid Discord here. If you want to get in touch with the team, this is the #1 place to do it. Come in here. You got the Bitcoin chat, right? Support claim. And they also just said, they just recently put some liquidity on Dotswap. And right now you get this token for 15 cents on Dotswap. And if you can get up to 30,000 Fluid tokens, they will bridge it for you right now, custodianly through here. So you come here, you'll support, potentially reach out to them, say, hey, I want to bridge my rune that I got for 25% cheaper to Cardano. Can you help me out? They're going to help you out, guys. They're going to get you over on Cardano from the rune side. But they are creating a bridge as well where you can do that without permissionless bridge that you're going to come in here, you're going to use it and take your rune that you have on Bitcoin and convert it to a token FLDT over there on Cardano. Same thing. So that's to say they have a promotion for you to stake your Fluid tokens on Bitcoin. You're going to be able to bridge your FLDT calling from Cardano to the Fluid rune, guys. This is really big because you got to take advantage of this, guys. There's 25% discount. If you don't do it, I will. I'm giving you guys the opportunity first, because 25% off is it's nice. That's nice for sure.
Pretty good discount for sure.
Hey, man. But I think that's everything from Fluid, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's the update. This is a team that has deep roots in Cardano and now deep roots in Bitcoin. So just keep your eye out on them because they're going to constantly add products to their product suite, and bullish on those guys.
100%, man. All right. Let's jump back in the news here. So Fed board member Christian Waller spoke yesterday. This is big because he said they are considering cutting rates this month. This was absolutely huge to hear. Christopher Waller, he's kind of always been a hawk. Now he's actually going to the dovish side and saying, hey, we might get a rate cut this month. And it's crazy that Poly Markets isn't moving off this, because we do know the Bitcoin price is going to move if this happens. If they cut rates, dude, could you imagine what Bitcoin does?
Oh yeah, I mean the entire I think market is going to really thrive, because now you're starting to think risk on as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, looking forward to that. Ethereum wants 6-second blocks for faster apps and smoother DeFi, but it raises questions about whether its speed is being prioritized over security. So my question for you, does Ethereum need to do this? Does Ethereum need to get faster? Does it need to potentially prioritize speed over security, when I think it should be prioritizing security over speed?
So I don't think they need to do this. They have the L2 environment, but it seems like if they are wanting to do this, they don't want to just rely on that sole strategy of L2s. You know, they want more usage on chain. But they are, you know, that's the trilemma, right? You have to pick one that you're going to give up a little bit on if you're going to try to get more of the other two. That's the triangle trilemma. And for them, if they want to increase speed, they can have increased speed with decentralization, and then security is a little bit weakened. You know, that's the decision they have to make. So I don't know. I think that you know, it seems okay now, but these guys probably are trying to get more activity on chain. I don't know. Why do you think they are saying this?
I think it's a total mistake. I think that people they want to compete with Solana, but they don't need to compete with Solana from a layer one standpoint. You have Robinhood, you have Coinbase, you have all these banks, you have Sony building on ETH L2s. You don't need to compete with them. It's a total mistake. But this is the people who are Ethereum bag holders, I think, in their head. They're like, we need the price to go up. What can we do to get the price to go up? Chain faster. We got to compete. It's stupid. Ethereum needs to be the safest, most decentralized place to trade for these big whales. It can be the whale chain, and where all these L2s finalize their transactions on. I think it's a huge mistake. Ethereum just needs to continue what they're doing, because it's been a success. Don't worry about your number go up. It'll happen in time. I just think that right now you don't need to be trading memes on Solana. I mean, on Ethereum, you can trade them on places like Solana.
Yeah, I agree with that from a fundamental standpoint, right? And look, Bitcoin has had that thesis for the longest time, and you see it is supply and demands in favor of Bitcoin versus Ethereum. I think that's the reason why, though, that they have these conversations or topics come up, is because, you know, their whole tokenomics is based off of volume, right? And
it really is. Yeah.
I mean, like in the future, sure, like it'll come, and I just think people are getting antsy. You know, and they're just like, you're right. These are kind of like the impulsive people saying, do something. You know what I mean? Like, let's do something.
My bags. Don't worry about your bags. Your bags will be fine. Let's worry about being the most decentralized and safest place to trade for whales and layer twos to kind of finalize on. That should be number one priority with that. Yeah. But let's dig into some memes here. So Kraken, the meme coin showdown is heating up. Who will take P1 and win their spot on the Williams Racing rear wing? So this is interesting, right? Because Kraken does have a
F1,
a F1 car. I forgot what it was named. Thank you. And they're going to be putting a logo on that car. It's crazy that dogs too. Isn't that nuts?
No, it's not, because dog should be number one.
You think dog could be BONK?
Yeah, I actually think it does. When it's all said and done, I think dog does become number one. But I think it's easy for BONK to kind of be in that top spot right now, because they have a lot of, they raised a ton, you know what I mean? And they earned a lot. And so, but the social effect of dog is really strong. And so that's why I think dog. So you guys hear me. I believe in you, dog army. So we got to get that number one spot.
Yeah, man, 100%. We got a comment here. I just want to hit on real quick. OpenSea says, when you create a hot wallet, your passphrase are generated online, which means it's less safe than creating your passphrase inside your cold wallet. Deleting your wallet does not. So that's what I'm talking about, of getting a different PC, right? You get a $200 computer, right? You download that hot wallet, you immediately take it offline. Now you have your seed phrase, all that stuff. You can delete it from the computer or whatever. So I do know what you're saying. It is generated online, but in order to get that, it depends when you're using one. But if you use something like MetaMask, you got nothing to worry about. The way they store it, they're using cryptography in the back end. It's almost near impossible for someone when they hack your computer if you no longer have that wallet there. Right. Let's just say you download another MetaMask. They're not going to see that. It says there's too much cryptography that's involved there.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with you on that. I think we're talking about probably quantum attacks or something, and we're some ways away from that. So yeah, I think you'd be fine the approach that we mentioned. But I see what he's saying as well.
Yeah,
there's always online, and there's always that possibility. But it's all about hygiene. We used to preach hygiene all the time. Hygiene keeps you safe.
Don't use that computer either, right? Like I have multiple laptops. I'm sure you do too, where they're just sitting there. Use one of those. Keep it offline. Just use the internet that one time. Take it offline and keep it offline. So, but yeah, I mean, you can hard wallets too, but same thing. No, it's just cryptography in there. You're generating that on the hardware device. Well, but we'll see. But yeah, man. So, do you think Dog does get up here?
I do. I think Dog wins this competition because there's a lot of people that have already stepped up too and said, I'm helping out here, I'm helping out there. I just think that BONK got a good head start, but I think like to finish, Dog will be number one.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. Pengu, could Pengu jump up to 2 then? Can Pengu pass to BONK? Pengu's been strong, bro.
Pengu's been strong in the headlines. I think Lukanets and that team that drives that, they're more worried, concerned on how to make their brand stronger and stuff, which this is a part of it. They're still participating. They're number 3. It's not like they're in a bad spot. But do I think they can win? No, I don't. I think it's going to be Dog and then BONK.
Sounds good to me. I love that. Germany
officially missed out on 2.4 billion in potential profit after selling 50,000 Bitcoin at 65K. Think about that. That was a year ago. A year ago this month in July. Germany was destroying all momentum that Bitcoin was trying to gain every single day. And they weren't doing it OTC. Like they could have went to Coinbase Prime. They could have did how Michael Saylor buys, or they could have went even to Michael Saylor himself and said, hey, we're going to give you this Bitcoin. You give us this much money. They probably would have done it because at the time, Saylor was buying like crazy. I just think that's going to go down one day as one of the biggest missed opportunities that a country ever had. Germany selling $2.4 billion worth of Bitcoin in a time when it was 65,000. It was even lower than that. It was like $50,000 when they were selling because they kept knocking the price down. And today we're above 116, 117, and such a missed opportunity for them.
Yeah, horrible advisors. Whoever should advise that should never have a job in government again, management, because it's just such a bad. And it was the old kind of global elite type mindset. I think they were approaching, to that. It was just like maybe they just really needed the funding or the money. I'm not sure, but it is going to go down historically as
what is a country that can print money need money? If you can print your own money, why do you need to sell this? That was the thing, right?
Yeah, but you don't want to announce that you're printing more money. It's not a healthy looking thing, right? But again, it could have been also kind of like a spit in the face of the Bitcoiners and crypto space, because like Germany was heavily seemed to be involved with the WEF type of thing, the global elitist type of thing, but it will go down, I think, in history as like one of the biggest flops, and it's going to be in history books, tablets, I should say.
They were selling on exchanges. That's the biggest thing. We wake up every day and
no
Germany
experience.
sold another 10,000. They sold another 10,000. They sold another 10,000. They probably lost so much money on fees.
I know.
They could have got it from just selling right online. Like, it's crazy to me. Crazy. Robinhood launches ETH and SOL staking in the US officially. You can go to Robinhood today, stake your Ethereum, you can get 4%. Stake your Solana, you can get 5%. From Robinhood, they're going to custody it for you, obviously, so you won't have custody of your Ethereum or Solana, but you can get 5% on that. Do you think a lot of people want to take advantage of this?
Yes, I do think so. Some pretty big whales, obviously. 5% is pretty solid when you have a large amount there.
Yeah.
Is it both 5% though, ETH and SOL?
So Ethereum's 4%, SOL is 5%.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
Robinhood's going to be getting 6% for the ETH and 7.5% for the Solana. So they're making money on you, technically.
Yeah.
But they are doing all the work for you.
Well, we talked about this. Like once
Yeah.
banks, I know Robinhood is not a typical bank, but once banks get involved here, they're gonna get their cut and they're gonna offer. We get to see it though. You know,
Yeah.
like if you think about like the old traditional products that they have CDs, you get earned 3%. What is that, right?
Yeah.
4% maybe, but you don't get to see what their cut is. We'll know how much they're making off of us now.
Yeah.
So it's a change in the game, but they will still offer it. People will still use them because that's how society works. Is like if it takes a little bit less of a headache for you, then you'll use a middleman or whatever, and that's what they're doing here.
But that's the thing too. Most people do use middlemen, right? Most people that are staking Ethereum use Lido.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 60% of the Ethereum that is locked is in Lido. And then, you have Coinbase, another place. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of people will use this. And I think
Level one users.
Robinhood their 1%. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, too. You're taking out all the risk off yourself, right? All you do is you go to Robinhood with cash, you buy Ethereum, and you choose to stake it. I mean, you're depending on a publicly traded company to do this for you. And you're pretty much guaranteed. I can't see Robinhood, messing this up.
Yeah, I mean, and then to the normie that decides, okay, I'm gonna get it. I need some exposure to Bitcoin, and they learn about Solana and Ethereum, and they say, wait, all I have to do is park my Solana here, and I can earn 5% interest yearly. And I have, they'll say that they're semi-wealthy. They have like $150,000 in there. They'll feel good about that, earning 5% on a yearly basis, and then they just roll that into their whatever savings or whatever they decide. Yeah. They have more of a traditional mindset, right? So they'll like that. Us, we'll be like, we can earn more somewhere else.
Well, yeah, 100%. Yeah. But like, think about them though, too. They'd say they have $1 million in ETH. They're getting $50,000 a year in free ETH. You're getting paid that in ETH. And if you think ETH's going to 10x, I mean, compounding that interest, I mean, potentially over the next 10 years, I mean, you can make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So, the next thing here, your boy, man, Peter Schiff, he says, it's time to sell your Bitcoin, Yagobi. And it's time. You guess what he wants you to do with it? He wants
buy
you to
silver.
Buy silver. He's not even pushing gold anymore. This guy, first off, he's like last month he was talking about he like used to mess with young girls, and now he's talking about buy silver.
I didn't hear that.
You didn't hear about that? Where he was saying he was like, yeah, we'll go over that later. But this guy, I think he's losing his mind here. Buy silver, sell Bitcoin. And buy silver. I mean, I think it's time for him someone needs to put him in an old person's home at this point.
Well, to join him, you might also add Robert Kiyosaki, or what's his last name?
Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki, because he also says buy silver. I think there is a market right now for silver to where you have upside, but no one's going to sell their Bitcoin for silver right now.
Yeah, I think he's just. But he has a business, right? His business is selling gold and silver. He gives you a piece of paper in a centralized way saying, oh, I have your silver in a vault. Don't worry. I hate old people.
That's his business, but it's funny that like talking about Bitcoin keeps him relevant. You know what I mean? It's like he has to talk about Bitcoin to keep him relevant in the headlines, but his main business is gold and silver.
Oh man. That's true. Bhutan sold 2.1 thousand Bitcoin this morning, worth $188 million across 5 transactions over the past. Oh, that's over the past year. Okay, so they sold 2.1 thousand Bitcoin over the course of the year. Bhutan is working like the old school miners, where they just mine the Bitcoin and then they
take profit.
They sell enough. Yeah, well, they sell enough to keep things going, right? So that's why I think Bhutan, they're keeping majority of the Bitcoin, but they're selling enough. I mean, $188 million are probably have more than enough to kind of keep this thing going. But Bhutan is working like a freaking mining company, not like a country. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they have, I think they use water energy or water power to mine Bitcoin. Bhutan, they've been able to manage their small country very, very well in general. I think they're the rated happiest country in the world every year. So I think they're just managing this probably well. Honestly, like if you're not thinking about it from like a Bitcoiner's mindset, right? Because they're fairly new to the game when it comes to this, right? Or at least we think they are, because they just came in the headlines not long ago. So they're probably thinking about, okay, let's take profit to better our country, better our society and stuff like that. The fact that they're participating though is a good sign, right?
It is.
And I think later on down the line they might sell less as they realize that Bitcoin's gonna just, when you zoom out, it only goes up.
Yeah, 100%. Looks like our guy Superfan is here. Shout out to Superfan, man.
Yo!
Appreciate you hopping in, dude, every single day. Ronan Vagabond is here. The Revolution will be streaming. What up, family? What's up, man? And then Fat Coin jumps in. Something special. Do not miss out. I'm not really sure what he's talking about there, but appreciate. I guess he's talking about Fat Coin. That actually makes sense. That it's coming from that account. But I appreciate you jumping in here, Fat Coin, and everything else. But we have so SharpLink acquires 10,000 ETH directly from the Ethereum Foundation for 25.7 million. People are going to the Ethereum Foundation and saying, "Hey, don't sell your ETH. Let us buy it off you." What do you think about this? What do you think this means? Them buying it directly from ETH?
I think this is a bullish headline, because you're starting to get large entities and people that have powerful capital to say, "Hey, let's work together here and help get this price going, so people, retail can start get bullish about ETH again," right? And so I'm not sure how frequently the Ethereum Foundation was selling down their ETH, but it had to be enough to where they wanted to prevent this, right? And so SharpLink is the MicroStrategy of Ethereum. They've been acquiring it the most, in my opinion. From a business standpoint, I'm not sure how much Tom Lee's company acquired the other day, but SharkLink was one of the first in the news headlines. I think they started off with like $400 million. So and they keep adding as well. So this is another example of them adding to their strategic reserve.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what kind of gaming company they are, right? But we I didn't know what MicroStrategy did until you told me recently.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter when you're buying crypto. Number just go up, man, and that's exciting. It's exciting for Ethereum. Last thing here, Crypto Calio says buying ORDI here reminds me of buying BONK in November of 2023. ORDI, this guy I feel like this guy is just living in last year at this point. What do you think about him buying ORDI right here?
Well, I mean, he must have been like in a coma or something, because I haven't seen him on crypto Twitter until really that happened. He posted about that. But if ORDI reminds him of buying BONK in November of 2023, then Dog reminds him of buying Sheep in April of 2020. Right? He'll never probably say that, but I'm saying that. But yeah, look, ORDI is still a staple, as much as we have fun with these meta protocol wars that kind of get stabs back and forth a little bit here and there. You have a little bit of BRC20 guys and some runes guys kind of throwing food at each other, but at the end of the day, I think liquidity that comes over here is good, right? Whether it's ORDI, Dog, whatever. And so look, this is coming back in the headlines. We know that there's whales. The one thing, though, is we're not seeing sats really be talked about. We're seeing ORDI only. And in terms of the 2023 Bitcoin bull run, ORDI was the first one that really got going.
Yeah, 100%. And this helps more people realize that there is coins on Bitcoin, right? So it's positive regardless, because people don't even know that Bitcoin has an economy of tokens and NFTs, which we call ordinals. And more people that understand and kind of learn that we are building something special over here, more people that are going to keep looking and to find things like Dog, find things like runes, find things like our next guest here, Emblem Vault. But really excited about just people like him talking about our ecosystem. I mean, regardless, right? So but let's hop into our next segment here. And our next segment is awesome, because that's one of my favorite things to talk about, and that's AgentHustle. So the guys over at Emblem Vault, they're building something truly special, and it is going to be huge. Recently, they've done a migration from their test token, which was TNSR, the Tensorium token, which is now the Hustle token. They're officially live right now, you guys. You can go over to the DEXs and potentially participate in Hustle, or if you're interested in migrating, you can do that as well. Time is running out, though. If you do have the Tensor token, you only got a couple more days left to kind of get in there. We're going to go over all of that and some huge updates coming for Hustle. And Emblem Vault is also building the jump feature, which is going to allow you to take your ordinals over to Ethereum. If you wanted to take your Taproot Wizard over to Ethereum to take a loan out on Gandhi, you can do that, and you can do that all through Emblem Vault. So without further ado, bring up Jake. Jake, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday.
Happy all-time high Friday.
Yeah, what are we at now? Is it 18K or is it gone up higher?
No, it's a pull.
dropped.
Yeah, we pulled back. We're at 117, about 400. It dropped all the way to 116, 8, 7, 600. So, I mean, not too shocked. You know, the past 2 days have been pretty bullish. We tagged the all-time high on Thursday and then Wednesday. And then Thursday just decided to let it rip, I guess. And it got to 118.6, right? Something like that.
118.8, I thought.
118.8. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, need ETH to close over 3K for another alt run.
On the daily, you feel like, or the weekly?
Probably the weekly needs to close over 3K. I mean, it has a chance over this weekend if things continue to run. But everybody has their liquid wealth in ETH. I mean, you know, a lot of dead JPEGs denominating ETH. A lot of OGs are holding ETH. And dude, the millennials and Gen X just needs a win to start rotating, because all of the Zoomers have just been hanging out on Solana, training attention all day, and all the boomers are just holding Bitcoin. So we need the 25 to 45-year-old age range to make some money for an alt run.
Dude, that's so crazy. You just broke that down like that, because it actually makes perfect sense. If you look at those generations, that is kind of their area, right? Like, I know, like, some people that have the experience, we kind of, if we're work here or whatever, we dabble in all of them. But like, if you look at the demographics, you're right. You know, the millennials need that break. But do you think that's why also that crypto Twitter has been a bit quiet? Because, you know, we've been talking the past couple of weeks about the quietness on crypto Twitter and how Ethereum has been not the best performing asset, you know, in terms of alts. But once that turns on, maybe they come back alive. What do you think about that thought process?
Yeah, you know, it's funny, just to go on the previous comment. I had this conversation with one of my buddies who also has his own project in the space of like the generational kind of divide. When you look at it, it's like, you know, mostly boomers who are buying ETFs. Now they're the ones who are buying the Bitcoin treasury companies. We're meeting them in basically their market, in their Ponzi, which has been the stock market for a while. You have the Zoomers who basically moved over to Solana. It's the fastest, and they're all into content creation and nihilism. So they kind of hang out there. The millennials have been the ones who've been building infrastructure for the last 10 years. They're all the layer 2 founders. They're all the, you know, meta protocol founders. They're all the alt O1 founders. And Gen X is generally the VCs who back the millennials for the most part. So when you kind of look at it like that, right, the performance hasn't really panned out so far. And I think that has been why it's somewhat quiet. Although now that crypto is, 16 years old, 16 years old or so, a lot of people who've got wealthy just left. Like, I see these posts pop up on my timeline, a lot of people saying that they're cashing out and going to go enjoy life. And, you know, to them, it's their credit. And on the other side of that, the crypto community is so segmented. There's so many different chains now, so many different ecosystems and the algorithm of Twitter continues to change. So it's really hard to stay in touch with who's the right person to follow, who's the lead, right? People are streaming on Twitch now. People are streaming on Pump Fun. There's just so many Farcaster. There's so many different angles and people coming to buy crypto that a lot of times you're not even really seeing who it is. It kind of reminds me a little bit of when I got back into the space in 2016, 2017. The primary communication platform was Reddit at the time. Crypto Twitter was kind of still in its infancy. And there were so many different subreddits of people trading information on crypto. Also, Bitcoin Talk was still somewhat popular or relevant at that time. And then obviously CT was kind of in its early stages. And then YouTube kind of became popular for scammers to shill their tokens in 2017. And it's starting to get like that again with the segmentation. It felt like last cycle, everything was on Twitter. And now it seems like people are breaking out a little bit back to like Telegram and such like that. So it's really hard to follow. So I just recommend people to kind of just stay in their ecosystem at this point. It's really similar to how the stock market's evolved, where there's just so many different industries and so many different sectors that it's impossible to follow all of it. And if you try to, you're gonna fucking lose your ass, especially in crypto where it's not like the stock market where it's just US equities. It's a global industry with global attention and global liquidity.
That makes sense.
100% agree. I mean, right now, I mean, it does feel dead. I mean, I was checking around some channels yesterday at all-time high, and some of the channels weren't even getting anywhere near like their November highs, right? Like for instance, like Sin City Crypto, one of the bigger channels in space that cover real layer one, like real people one, like level one people, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, Cardano type of stuff, and they were at 250, and when it was breaking out all-time high. And they were at 1,200 in November. It just seems like we're still not at a point yet where retail is paying attention.
Oh, they'll come back. They'll come back. I think once ETH closes over 3K, and I think stays around 3K and above for a few weeks, you'll see people come back. I recently had a conversation with a friend of a friend who's been working at a multi-trillion-dollar asset manager for 30 years and just got added to their crypto team. And this is like a gigantic company. It's been around for a few hundred years at this point. And they're just really far behind. I had an hour-long conversation. It was one of those where it's like, hey, can you talk to my friend? He works for this company and he needs to learn about it. And he knows a little bit, not much. And he told me that a lot of the institutions are kind of in the similar situation where they were really caught off guard. But to us, it was obvious that it was all going to happen. But it seems like the Robinhood thing really kind of shook everyone up in the institutional world. So because now they're actually paying attention and they're actively creating strategies and they're trying to understand the industry, and then they're going to be creating strategies. You'll probably see a giant flood of retail, but the retail is going to be older than us this time. The retail is going to be the boomers coming on chain, or they're going to be using, these institutional products to buy our bags and, our NFTs and such. But that's probably going to take a few years for that to kind of fold out. And the volatility of crypto seems to be lessening over time. Right. When I got in, you could literally just fucking throw a dart at something in 2017 and it would go up like 5,000%. Those opportunities are less and less, and they're very ecosystem driven now and less just kind of like a macro perspective. So the crypto Twitter seems dead now, but I mean, the next wave of retail is going to be normies, and they're not going to be hanging out on crypto Twitter. So I think it's important to understand who you're targeting. And there are some teams who are actively doing this. Like Pudgy Penguins is probably like a really good example of targeting normies for the last 2 years and going about it and meeting them where they are. And they're just not going to be on crypto Twitter. Although the really kind of brilliant people generally hang out on crypto Twitter. I know there's a lot of idiots and stuff like that. But the reason why I stayed in crypto is I always thought it was where the most brilliant minds from all different sectors of macroeconomics and global economies come to kind of hang out. And that's generally what crypto Twitter is. But the majority of people who will be buying crypto will not be on crypto Twitter.
Yeah.
And so that's why it feels dead, is because a lot of people who are buying are not on Twitter.
Yeah. And you're right. It is kind of crypto Twitter. If you really, seed out the people that don't bring substance, there's an immense amount of talent there. Whether it's marketing, developing, or business. Well, the business management side is getting better. I think that was the one part that was lacking from crypto Twitter, but we're starting to see that that's getting better as the focus is going towards UI and UX, because they know that is what, and shout out to Luca Nets. I always give him props because he's a damn good business minded person. But yeah, so with that being said, you guys have been building some amazing products. You guys have been around for a long time. You guys are OG builders in crypto in general, but the star of the show lately has been AgentHustle. Okay. So AgentHustle has really kind of come on the scene. You guys are now about to wrap up the migration, which is good. You can kind of move forward from that and start to really build out the business model. What is AgentHustle look like currently? Like, what's the next step? What are you looking forward to?
It's a good thing you bring up the UX because up until about a year or two ago, no one ever focused on UX in crypto, although that had always been something that people had said, even when I'd got into it. So with this next upgrade, we're taking a big focus on the UX experience. So that's AgentHustle V3 will be coming out. It's kind of crazy. AgentHustle V1 was December 31st. And it was just the AI. AgentHustle V2 was in March. So little over 100 days ago. So it'll be almost 4 months between V2 and V3. And now V3 is going to, and when V2 came out, V2 was the integration of Solana financial tooling into AgentHustle. So you could prompt to LP, prompt to swap, prompt to analysis, right? And prompt to a handful of other tools. There was a little bit of kind of throwing darts at the board to kind of see what would stick. We built like a limit order tool, right? We did like DCA. We tried to build a copy trader, ran into some kind of issues there. And we watched to see how the industry would evolve in the specifically the DeFi AI sector. And it turns out we were right the entire time on the direction. And so with V3, we're now adding more, we're improving the UX and focusing, I guess you could say, on intelligence, customization, and then expansion to other chains. So, and maybe I'll show a preview here in a second because I have it on my computer. The conditional engine will be kind of the mainstay, the main feature of this new improvement. This is things like advanced limit orders, advanced DCA, market stops, or stop markets, and a handful of trigger-based on-chain financial transactions for Solana. We had to build this completely in-house. There isn't anything like this on Solana, at least that I've seen so far. So this could be things like buy BONK when the price drops by 50%, and then split that order up into 3 take profits at this, and this price increase. So that is coming next. There's, again, the big UX improvement where we identified during V2 that we have 2 specific user types. One is the trencher or the trader, and the other is the analyst. So we are focusing on implementing a new app called the Toolbox. And what the Toolbox is, and this is getting a little bit down kind of how AI works. The Toolbox is different types of, you could say, APIs and MCPs that allows the agent to access to pull information. So we've split up our Toolbox into trading tools and analytic tools, because we've had a lot of requests from people who don't use AgentHustle to trade at all. They just use him to talk and to analyze different types of information, and then they'll go kind of trade wherever they want to. Obviously, we want them trading on the platform, but sometimes you just can't prevent that from happening. And so we'll have those 2. We're upgrading the social sign-in, so you'll be able to sign in with X alongside Google, alongside Wallet Connect, so any Ethereum wallet as well. The mobile experience is improved, so you can actually just go into mobile and sign in with X or Google, and you could just do it right in the browser. You don't have to go through Phantom's web extension or web browser or whatever that they use. And then it'll be the expansion to new chains coming in. That won't be on the initial release, but expansion to Bitcoin, expansion to Polymarket, expansion to Hyperliquid, expansion to ETH and Base, and Abstract will probably be kind of like the main ones there. And then subscriptions also. I guess there's kind of 2 more points. There's a lot. Subscriptions, we're implementing. We're kind of towards the end of actually, or we're in the current testing stages of this. So this will be a paywall for premium features. There will be a free feature, but then a payment wall for the I guess you'd say the supreme type of stuff that can be paid in SOL, USDC, or Hustle. Will be the 3 kind of payment options. So I haven't said that anywhere. And then the Hustle token, obviously, which is going to be the main feature of the whole entire ecosystem. The migration actually went quite well. It's gone quite well so far. We have 60. Let me check right here. 67%. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually quite high. So maybe we'll end up around like 75% by the time that ends. So that'll give us a treasury to work with. That'll give, you know, everyone who had been following along the opportunity to participate. And the chart has been looking pretty good as well. It looks like there's actually been some big whale buyers who've been buying over the last few days. If you kind of look at the TWAPs that have been happening, to say the least. And migrate.fun, which maybe we'll dive into here in a little bit, has gotten a lot of attention. But for Hustle, we want to implement true tokenomics within an AI or DeFi AI platform, which currently haven't seen too much exploration yet. When you look at some of the other platforms, there's, you know, rewards, which is kind of basic idea. Wayfinder did something interesting where you can stake your prompt token to collateralize pathways to kind of get fees. But yeah, we'd like to take some of that to the next level here over the rest of the year. And we have some very strong ideas about how to do that. And then, yeah, add value to the token. Now that we have a friendly regulatory regime, we could do things like buybacks and burning and staking and a lot of the things that have been kind of off limits for the United States for the past 4 years. So
Yeah.
very, very excited for that. And now that we have a treasury, we'll be able to actually go on and do that.
Yeah, and the thing about Hustle that I want to kind of explain to the audience here too is when you talked about the conditional trading side, where you know the limit orders that you can set and automated and stuff like that. Imagine like being able to have an AI assistant that's kind of merged with a trading bot, right? So you can you know, give it instructions on what you want to do. Now, obviously, whenever it first starts, expect, you know, those kind of basic prompts. And as I've seen with Hustle, as time goes on, he gets better and better at that specific you know, service. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, you have it correct. If you
Yeah.
want to pull it up, I'll give you guys kind of like a first preview.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's add that to the stage here.
Yeah, so this will be kind of the first preview. So this is kind of what the V3 model looks like. Brand new experience, improving the UI. You have the side toolbar here. There is no top toolbar, so you get this whole kind of experience. These are kind of like the general starters. So you could come here and hit that just for people to kind of figure out how to go about it. Hustle, we've added this cool feature right here where it's called the chain of thought. So as he's progressing throughout his I guess you could say as he's progressing like throughout his prompt, this will change down here to kind of the next components to it, if there is kind of more to it. If you've noticed, we've been working on his speed and optimizing. The team right now is actually doing that, where we're finding ways of eliminating kind of technical debt and making him go faster as well. And that's something that we're going to be continually kind of working on. So here, right, this is kind of just the basic kind of update here. Balances hasn't changed too much here. So two things. So first one is the toolbox. This is kind of what I had mentioned. So for the free tier, there's certain toolboxes that will be mandatory on. So you can't turn these off. And the reason why is turning these off will just kind of fuck with the efficiency of the experience. And so then on analyst, right, you have advanced search tools, and you can actually drop down and see. So like web search will be kind of part of the paid tier. We have a bunch of Bitcoin tools that we've added. So this is basically everything from ORDI scan. So you could go in and query any type of Bitcoin information. This is setting a precedent for coming into the Bitcoin ecosystem once we integrate the financial tooling. And you can come here and kind of look at these, right? So this like memory, swapping, these are the standard tools. These will always have to be on these standard tools. Conditional trading, right? You could turn it kind of on and off with the premium tier. And one thing to kind of explain is So we've kind of, at least personally, figured out kind of what the upper limit of what AI can do, at least in the current model or the current existing models are. When you add more tools for an agent to use, the agent becomes slower and it begins to deprecate his personality and memory. So I think on the free tier, you'll have 20 tools that are on. Once you start getting up into the upper limits of 40 to 50 tools, he basically becomes kind of like a normalized bot. He begins to lose some of that personality. He begins to have a harder time saving the memory. So we decided that because of that, we need to have a way for users to kind of play with these different toolboxes. And there's going to be a lot more than this, to basically figure out how they want to use his memory to save different tool sets to access. So the kind of idea would be here is you have these certain tools on, and then you can save it to his memory and say, you know, this is my advanced on-chain analytics strategy. And anytime you say recall that, he'll turn the certain tools on and you can kind of access it in that way. These numbers are not true here, so these are just kind of like placeholders. So don't shoot me because it's just things that we're toying around with, but there's going to be a retail plan and a developer plan here. So there's going to be a free one. And so between the retail, right, this is like using AgentHustle here on the platform itself. And then the developer is the person who's building and using the MCP. So there's going to be kind of a free version as well. These are just, again, placeholders here. And allowing and having a membership to this, or putting up essentially a paywall, really allows for more types of tokenomics and tokenization, because revenue comes to the platform, right? Revenue could go to the token. Premium features, you get to talk with your power users, and you get to essentially create this kind of gated community, this scarcity mindset, which generally has a positive impact on token value accrual. So here with the conditional engine, we put some starter prompts here for people to use, right? Buy limit, sell market, take profit, stop loss. And then you can kind of combine all of these. So I'll kind of go through an example here. So I could say like buy BONK with, I'll just do the simpler exit with 0.01 SOL when the price drops by 5%. And then set a take profit at 200%. You could split it up and have kind of like a lot of fun there, about or going around for it. And you can obviously do this as well. So you'll kind of see here what I mean by like this changes. So it says looking for token swaps, and he'll kind of go through the process. And for the user, you know, it shows that there's like actually things happening and that there's like a progression to his thought, just as like with every human. So he's now accessing your wallet. And then once he accesses the wallet, right, it says that he's checking the balance. And now he's checking my wallet. And he'll kind of go through the process. And once the conditional order is set, you'll be able to go into the mini app, and you'll be able to kind of view it. So I will show that here in a second once he's finished this. And the cool part here is you could set this up for a wide variety of things, and that eventually this kind of progresses into, see, so he's done. It took about 30 seconds or so. And you could come over here to the condition, and then this is the pending order. And you'll see that it looks like the numbers are not displaying here. So I got to have them update that. But you'll go down and you see here, so the entry, when the price drops by 5%, take profit at 200%. And then the order status is open. And then there's kind of an order ID. And then that's all you really have to do. And the cool part here, and we still have the same thing, alpha apps, trenches, settings has been moved down here. and really just kind of focusing on a much better experience, especially when Cisco's multi-chain and you have the Bitcoin ecosystem and Ethereum and stuff. The cool thing is the conditional engine is essentially chain agnostic. So you can apply this to runes, you can apply it to ordinals, you can apply it to NFTs, and so on and so forth. So that's a little bit of the preview. And yeah, excited for V3.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I'm really excited for it too. I think, just going from what you guys have now, which I'll kind of show my screen, you guys can see the huge difference. I mean, this is what you guys have now, V2, and then go into something like you showed. I mean, that is night and day. I mean, that is insane upgrade. And Stan actually had a question. He says, why was there a UX gap between Web 2 and Web 3? Was there a limited bandwidth? It's interesting because Web 3 with big brains, right? So what do you think? What was the huge thing there, a huge gap between Web 2 and Web 3?
It's probably a combination between the lack of necessity to create a big US. So like prior to where we are today, which people are calling like kind of ushering in the application era of crypto, you didn't need to do much for a UX because people were just speculators and traders. And if you don't need to have a pretty UX to make a few $1 million, then why do it, right? People didn't really care. The technology also really wasn't there. There wasn't really much to do. Like in 2017, the only thing was ICOs. There wasn't, like, Uniswap didn't even exist. It was still Ether Delta at the time. Or was it Ether Delta? I think that's what it was called beforehand. And then when you got into the NFT era, that's when people really started to kind of pay attention to it a little bit or start saying more, because there was like this social layer that had happened. You got all of these like content streamers, the younger generation started coming in. And Zoomers are ones who really started pushing UX and taking it to kind of the next level, just because that's what they were born with. That's what they've been doing their entire life. Millennials generally grew up in the early internet era where UX was not great at all. So you could kind of be able to exist without a great UX. And I would say then partly funding as well. Like building in this industry is not easy. Yeah. You see a lot of these big raises and stuff, but for all these big raises, there's probably hundreds of teams who did not get a raise, right? Or who are, dying. So the, success rate here is much harder than it is in the Silicon Valley, and Wall Street type, ecosystems.
So they're using their funding for back end. They're using their funding for blockchain, for that type of dev experience, not really with the UI or the front. But it's gotten a lot easier now. I can draw a picture in Canva, put it in ChatGPT, and say, give me code for this. Right? That's how easy UI has gotten pretty recently, anyway, with the vibe coding stuff. Skill
is also a thing as well. I mean, I've been on the Emblem team for 3 years now, and it really wasn't until AgentHustle where we really kind of understood how UX works in crypto. Simple is better, but being able to organize things before, things are complex. And so being able to explain ideas, you would think that the technicality behind thing was to make a big difference. And I've completely changed from when I first started Emblem to now, where I used to always try to explain the technical differences of Emblem and try to make these things more advanced for that advanced user. And now we're just trying to simplify everything. And I'm actually turned away now by builders and teams who basically focus on the technical differences of things, because 95% of the time that doesn't matter. And it actually just fends people off from wanting to participate.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense too. Like whenever you're creating like new infrastructure for like this emerging tech, that like all the devs are gonna be way more technical minded, and they don't really care if the user wants a extra easy button to click or anything like that. They're just like, this is amazing. I made this happen. You know what I mean? And so now we're starting to see that that's not the case, which is a great thing, because in the end, we need mass adoption, and that's a good UI, UX. But one thing too, I want to talk about, because some people might be like, the conditional trading, you could just set limit orders. It's not about that. Like it's about having like this assistant that you are working with now for your trading strategy, right? So the assistant's going to learn more about your tendencies and your questions and how you like things or how you want things. So now you put together your trading strategy, because my understanding is Hustle's going to eventually be able to have like a foundational analysis as well, right? Like a fundamental, I should say, where news and stuff can come into play, right?
Yeah, you're talking. So you're speaking on the triggers. So
Yeah.
the triggers are first, I guess, to kind of simplify, is what is a conditional order, right? So a conditional order is if X happens, then do Y kind of situation. Eventually, you could do things like if X happens, then execute Y, Z, A, B, C, D type things, and then inserting the variable there. Right now, it's just market-based triggers. And so again, right, buy BONK with 0.01 SOL when the price drops by 10% and sell it for 200% profit. That's a market-based trigger. You could eventually add a news-based trigger where you could say, buy BONK with 0.01 SOL when the price drops by 10% and sell it when Solport Tom tweets the BONK ticker. That would be a social-based trigger, right? You could do a news-based trigger. And I use the Polymarket example a lot because I think this is kind of where a lot of opportunity is. So for Polymarket, if you have it, when we have it integrated, you could say, buy the, go buy a futures bet on the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl and only sell the ticket if Patrick Mahomes gets injured in a game, right? That's a news-based event. So he's buying the position on Polymarket, and then he's actively looking on the web. He'd probably be just watching the Kansas City Chiefs website or the Twitter account for a news event that says Patrick Mahomes has been injured. And when he sees Patrick Mahomes has been injured, it sells the ticket, right? If not, it's holding the ticket to resolve, which either means Kansas City Chiefs wins the Super Bowl or they don't win the Super Bowl. And there's time-based triggers, right? By, take 0.01 SOL, buy BONK when it drops by 10% and hold the position for 42 days and 69 seconds. That's a time-based trigger. And the whole idea here is once you start introducing all of these new variables, right? X is market-based triggers, Y is news-based triggers, Z is social triggers, A is time-based triggers, and on and on and on. You're able to combine all of these to create kind of things like, again, this is probably a year or two away. AgentHustle, take my 0.01 SOL, actively monitor Trump's next speech, and launch 50 new meme coins that are based off of keywords that you identify to have meme coin potential, and create the image with it as well, right? That's
crazy,
right? That's kind of like what you're building towards. Obviously, it's not anywhere close to being there yet. Again, probably a year away or so from that happening, where the trenches are gonna be flooded with AI. But you got to have steps, and you got to start somewhere, and you got to start with the existing infrastructure that is there, and you have to basically build this all kind of in-house. And what I've learned on Solana specifically is we basically started on the hardest ecosystem outside of Bitcoin. EVM has been around for much longer. There's a lot of protocols that have built their own API services. Solana, a lot of these API services have one specific thing that they offer. There's no kind of all-in-one type service. So you have to basically first be able to understand the ecosystem, figure out what services you need for builder services, and then basically build your own kind of protocol, and also have the knowledge and expertise in figuring out how to leverage these LLM systems into on-chain technologies.
Yeah, crazy. I completely agree. It's pretty wild. I'm gonna jump into some news you guys had from today. You guys listed now on CoinMarketCap. AgentHustle is now 4,020, which is crazy to think that there's 4,000 tokens that are bigger than Hustle right now. But if you go into it, your guys' chart looks pretty sideways. But that's because people don't realize of the MigrateFun and what you guys done with this. So to TNSR token over to Hustle, but it must feel good though to be listed on CoinMarketCap now.
Yeah, it's been a pain in the ass. There's a lot of things. First, you got to click that bullish button right there to make sure that you're bullish
This
on
one right
the
here.
hustle. Yeah.
There you go.
Gotcha.
So what I've learned with Solana ecosystem, and it's actually very frustrating. So you see where it says according to RugCheck, and it has this like giant ordering label.
Yeah.
There's only one thing in that that's actually true, which is like we had built the migration portal with this idea of mutable metadata so that you can update the icon. Apparently that's a big no-no. And if you have that, then they basically assume that you can also rug everything else. So even if you go to RugCheck and click on it and it goes to us, it only shows you mutable metadata of everything else it's saying. Unfortunately, now RugCheck has been integrated into everything and they don't change they won't change anything for specific use cases. And RugCheck is designed for meme coins. So the fact that we took $150,000 of our own money and set up an LP pool that is not locked because that's our money, they're basically they're deducting us and saying that we're a danger because we put our own money in our own LP pool and we won't burn it for, it's because that's like the meme coin type idea. So this is just not, the whole ecosystem is not designed for long-term builders. And so there's these warnings and we're still, the whole administrative thing of AgentHustle has been a very gigantic pain in the ass, but yeah, it's just it's a very tough friction point for long-term builders to build on Solana because everything is designed to be a meme coin. And the fact that you have to lock your LP and burn $150,000 or $200,000 to basically become verified and not have a warning label, I think is just like completely backwards, unfortunately. But or having one single holder hold 30%, like it says there. If you're a company, obviously you're going to hold all of it in one wallet and you're going to designate it as the team's wallet. But now RugCheck is basically enforcing us to split up our team wallet into 27 different wallets so that we could pass the quote unquote RugCheck analysis, which I think is not fair to the community because most people are going to see that on bubble maps and think we're going to rug them, right? So they put you in kind of between a rock and a hard place. So we're still evaluating to see, what's the best option forward, but we're kind of being forced to play the meme coin game to set up the treasury and stuff, and I just don't think it's fair to users.
Yeah, this is the effects of pump fund, I feel like, because this locked liquidity pool, which by the way, pump fund benefits off of all the generated fees off of that. That's the whole reason why migrate.fund exists, is to migrate away from that. And you guys found a strategy to do that. So yeah, I agree. I think it's not fair, but I think as the ecosystem changes, they will hopefully adjust to that, because you're going to start to see a lot of projects migrate away from, the locked LPs that they have in pump fund or in Believe, or these launch pads that make you not have access and earn your rightful LP.
It's crazy.
It's just
crazy. It's crazy that you're basically forcing people to remove rewards from their own, from their own money. Like for us to lock the LP basically says we don't get the fees on 150K in the LP. So now we're losing the access to that money and you don't get the rewards from it. Like how is any long-term builder going to be able to survive without, you're taking away their revenue essentially. So that's why we created migrate.fun. Hopefully we could change. We have a lot of interested teams. We're kind of working with 5 direct people who have reached out to us independently or that we've approached who would be a good fit to see if they would come through. Obviously, this is public knowledge that Radium is working with us as well. They're very interested, as well as the BONK team is potentially interested in this as well, which is the largest meme coin on Solana. So we're working through some strategies and hopefully working with them, who's essentially, that's like as high as you could go in the ecosystem. Radium being the largest AMM on Solana, BONK being the largest meme coin community on Solana. Working with them, hopefully we can kind of
get that nod.
get the nod and also change some of the dynamics. So things that I've learned is like if you launch on Pump Fund or through Launch Lab, your token's automatically verified on SolScan. And for us, in order to get verified on SolScan, you have to have a CMC and CoinGecko link. But in order to get on CMC, you have to pay $5,000, right? So you're basically right. So it's just like it's so skewed towards basically short-term profits, right? Because if you don't have $5,000 to pay for CMC, you have to launch through Launchpad, which then locks your LP, and now you don't have any long-term profits. You don't even get a treasury, right? So it's like, it's unfortunate that the gatekeepers of the Solana, directories are, skewing it that way, and I think it's actually long-term damaging to the ecosystem because of these kind of small things that doesn't allow builders to come in unless you have millions of dollars in funding. So this is probably why a lot of the small builders go to the Ethereum L2 ecosystems and to Bitcoin, because you can actually go there and not be, chastised for, trying to set up a long-term focus. Whereas Solana, it's all short-term attention and heavily VC-backed companies, which is generally the Silicon Valley type model. Which is, I put out a thread the other day saying I kind of see Solana as like a VC type ecosystem or Silicon Valley type ecosystem, and Ethereum's more of like a Wall Street type ecosystem, and then Bitcoin is the kind of sovereign nation.
Yeah.
So if RugCheck was on Ethereum, they would show Aave and MakerDAO potentially as rugs.
Yeah,
because of that same reason.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
It's
crazy.
insane that's the case.
Yeah, and it shows the kind of immaturity level of Solana right now. And you got to think back at the 2021 Ethereum DeFi boom. It's kind of Solana experienced that last year and this year, right? So I think it'll become more of a mature ecosystem with time because they're going to learn from mistakes, just like the Ethereum ecosystem did. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, for our goal with MigrateFun is to kind of work with SolScan and to work with RugCheck to where it says, hey, if you launch through this platform, then all of these things are automatically verified and validated. That's what it does through Pump Fund and Launch Labs. So if we could have that ability, hopefully working with these other two, then, maybe it gives the opportunity for people to actually work as a long-term project. That's essentially who we are targeting, is long-term builders who basically got put in a short-term position, and you didn't realize that till later, right? That's what Tensorium was. We were a long-term builder. We launched on Pump Fund. You realize you don't have any of the token supply because people snipe it immediately. It has immutable metadata. You can't change the ticker, right? That's how we're stuck with Tensorium, or the image, and you have no access to the LP. And so those three things is completely damaging to a long-term minded team. And so the idea with MigrateFun is if you were somebody who was stuck in that situation, there's a chance to start fresh and to build with the long-term focus. And so hopefully it works out. There's a lot of interest and a lot of potential. And of course, with MigrateFun, all the projects that come through, there's a platform fee, and a portion of that will go to buying back Hustle.
Amazing. So if I was a team out there, I did Pump Fund. What do I got to do to potentially get on MigrateFun? Is there certain things you guys look into? Can you kind of explain the back end side there?
Yeah. So first and foremost, we put our own project through the platform, right? That allows us to work out a lot of these kind of small issues, right? At the administrative side, different things on the technical side, etc. We knew that people would reach out to us after they saw. I didn't think it would get this much interest, to be completely honest. A lot of large companies have reached out to us in terms of interest of integrating it more than like the builders themselves. So right now it's more of just a white glove. If you're interested, you could reach out to us. We've reached out to a handful of people. We're going to be doing the first cohort of individuals, which could be anywhere from 1 to seems like 5 or 10. After that, then it'll be open to the public. And then there are a few dozen teams from a different ecosystem that's shown interest, but they're kind of all waiting for other people to go through the door first. It's this kind of, I'm very interested. I don't want to be the first one. So that's why we put us through. And then we have this like kind of group that we want to launch together. And then it'll be open. And if there's some co-marketing efforts between some of the other teams, then we can, effectively take this thing to big time, because it can be, from Solana, you could go from, excuse me, Meteora to Radium, and eventually we could do cross chain. So you could go from like Base to Solana, or Solana to Base, or Bitcoin to Solana, or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Well, and there's also launch pads on different chains as well that this might be, a need for, right? Like you have Moonshot on a lot of EVM chains and stuff like that. But yeah, that's awesome. I got a question that's kind of a little bit off topic, but it's from Stan actually, because you have such a rich history with the NFTs. He's asking, will NFTs be back? Thanks.
Yeah, with Emblem, we're actually building something, excuse me, in the background for NFTs. I think NFTs just need a killer app, is kind of the case. The same thing that happened with fungible tokens, which is turned out to be launch pads for people to speculate on, for people to participate, for people to put value in. So with Emblem, we have built this kind of cross-chain application that takes NFTs from all chains and puts it into this kind of gamified manner. Hopefully we'd like to release it at the end of the year. We just have our focus right now on AgentHustle. And outside of us, I just think that's the case with NFTs right now. It needs a killer apps for people to take their NFTs and put into, whether it's right now, Courtyard is really crushing it with RWAs, right? That's a killer application. I think the art kind of aspect and the metaverse aspect of NFTs is now like saturated, and people just want to do things with it, right? So taking your NFTs, lending is obviously pretty big. Gandhi is crushing it. That's where we're integrated with for a handful of Bitcoin NFTs to do cross-chain lending on Gandhi. And you just need more of these, more Gandhis, more Courtyards, more things to do with your NFTs. And that's when they'll actually be back, because the asset themselves of NFTs is now known. People like them, but people need to do things with them for them to be back.
Yeah, you said something important there. You said the saturation of them. It reminds me of, and this is why I'm bullish on ordinals and Bitcoin ordinals with the rarities and the early inscriptions and stuff like that. Because in the 90s, there was a mass saturation of baseball cards that was just pushed out. And that's why that era of cards isn't really worth anything unless you have a rare one. So I think, some of the early collections from ETH will obviously do well, but then the rare Pepes, that will always have its history. That's what I think happens with the collectibles industry of digital art, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I was having a conversation the other day with one of my friends who's in the real estate industry, and he was just asking me about how real estate and crypto kind of work. And I told him, NFTs and real estate is probably the use case in the future, where NFTs are represented as deeds and you have lending and all this stuff. But I was like, honestly, for that to happen, somebody's going to have to probably build a real estate L2, just like Robinhood is building an L2 for the stock market. And then all of the real estate kind of focused NFTs have this ecosystem to where you can build real estate focused applications inside of this L2, and people kind of import all of their, real estate NFTs to that. And I think, that's a killer use case that obviously still has to be built. Somebody will build it at some point. And there's all these different sectors kind of for them. I mean, there is somebody right now who's tried to build an art L2. I think it was called like Shape or something like that. It hasn't really kind of taken off, but I think that's kind of where the future of NFTs are. Just the idea of, CryptoPunks and rare Pepes and such is cool. And yes, it shows like flexing and a sign of wealth, but flexing in the real world is a small industry comparative to the utility of non-fungible items in the world, right? Like cars. Like cars are probably the biggest NFTs that exist in the real world, and those are used literally every day by everyone.
So in the future, do you think I'm gonna have to like use this L2 for real estate, this L2 for stocks, this L2 for meme coins? Do you think it's gonna be kind of that type of trading?
I think it'll be it won't be that you have to. It'll just be like this is where the hub is, right? Like
Gotcha.
This is what
Vegas.
this is what they're known for. They'll
Yeah,
be
it's like
branded for that.
where I live in Vegas, right? It's like you don't have to go to Vegas to gamble, or you don't have to go to Vegas to, to relax, or you don't have to go to Vegas for a concert. But it's now known, like if you want to go to the best concerts, or if you want to go where the most people are for a concert, you go to Las Vegas to do that. It's the same thing with like New York and finance and other different countries. And I think NFTs will probably be the same thing, as well as most kind of, fungible items and stuff like this. Like Robinhood is taking the crack at, being the L2 for the stock market and tokenized equities, and they're going to probably have a good opportunity. Coinbase is kind of doing it for just crypto in general, bringing, their kind of people on chain. But the Vitalik vision of L2s, I've always kind of believed in and thought was right. Obviously, he's kind of now starting to put some focus on the L1 because of the pressure from the Solana community. But the ability to create these, I guess you could say it's a public chain, but with private development on it, right? Like Robinhood's going to come in and they're going to build an L2. It's on a public chain. Anyone could go in and audit all the data, but there's only a handful of people who could come in and actually, work on the actual chain itself. But anyone could come in and build an application on top of it. And I think that's kind of, where a lot of these industries are going to move towards with like real estate. Like for one final example, like if you had a real estate L2, for example, you could say, you could kind of take this to digital real estate and you'd be like, okay, I'm going to go build a digital real estate brokerage in this real estate, L2. And then you're going to use Emblem Vault to take all of your different real estate items from all these different chains to come in here and put it on this brokerage. Right. And you can do that with any industry. That's probably still 5 years away from that actually being, a reality, but you're seeing kind of the early stages of it now with Robinhood and with NFTs. This is the whole Emblem thesis. So I think Emblem can be literally one of the most valuable companies in the industry, just because the Emblem is essentially a shipping company, right? You're moving one asset from one place to another. That's literally what the shipping industry is. And the combined GDP of the international and domestic shipping industry is 7.5% of global GDP, which is like $10 trillion. And so if you have, infinite amount of L2s, infinite amount of chains, all of these assets are going to move to different areas where there is the most liquidity or where there is the most attention. So, probably another 5 to 10 years before that actually plays out. But that's the Emblem vision. And that's what takes NFTs to true global adoption.
Yeah, man, absolutely love it. Emblem.vision is the site for all that as well. So check that out. Check that out, guys. And Jake, man, it's been absolutely awesome. Really appreciate your time, and we'll love to give you stage one last time and talk to the audience.
Buy Hustle. Go right now to Solana. Go buy it. It's $2 million market cap. Participate in the future of the DeFi AI economy. We're going to continue to grow. There's a lot of interest. And have a good time. And if you don't know what Hustle is, then go to AgentHustle.ai. Check out the V2, and then V3 is coming real soon.
Exciting stuff, man. I can't wait to use V3. I've been excited about the conditional side and looking forward to that as well. But Jake, thank you so much for taking your time every Friday, jumping on with us, and we can't wait to have you back on.
Thanks, brother. See you guys soon.
Have a good weekend.
See you, Jake. Absolutely awesome as always, man. What a week, dude. What a week. We saw all-time highs this week. We saw absolutely insanity over the course of the last 12 hours with prices of altcoins. Next week's gonna be huge. I think just make sure you guys are tuned in next week, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend.
Yeah, for sure. 740 people checking us out on a Friday. A little slow start, but you guys definitely came in and celebrated with us with this, all-time high, and runes are running, and like Shizzy said, alts are running. But look, it doesn't matter. Day to day prices can fluctuate. They'll be volatile. The biggest thing is staying locked in, continually educating yourself, staying focused for what's about to come up, and I think that's the most important thing. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Without y'all, we couldn't do this, but also without our partners, we also couldn't do this. So if you could check out our partners, man, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the aggregator DEX for the Bitcoin ecosystem. Look, if you're looking to swap for runes, straightforward, go to satsterminal.com. It's the best way in a DeFi environment to swap for runes. You're going to earn Amber points as well, and Amber points are going to be a give back. They're going to go towards a give back to the early adopters there. You can swap for Dog Go to the Moon, Dog Army. Go use this platform. Also, $1 Billion Cat, other popular runes as well. And if you're into the Alkanes side, Alkanes is heating up. It's been hot for the past, I would say, month, right? You can swap for Alkanes as they have Alkane support there as well. There's going to be some big products that are coming. We got to see under the hood yesterday, but we're going to hold off on that until it is ready for announcement. But just be ready, guys. SatsTerminal.com is the place to go swap for runes and Alkanes. And then Emblem Vault, we just talked about those guys. I'll be brief because we basically went over it. It's going to be an interoperability tool for you guys to be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin to Ethereum, abstract base, and eventually possibly Merlin and Solana. That's something that they have an open mind to. You're going to be able to use AI AgentHustle once they add the Bitcoin tech stack to Hustle to help you vault those ordinals. And also you can do the Bitcoin NFTs too. The Rare Pepes and counterparty stuff as well. But Hustle, right now, you can use them. It's free until they start to put in that business model there. It's going to be kind of like a tokenized gated situation. But right now, you can try it out for free. And there's going to be a free version afterwards as well. You won't have all the features that you'll be able to use now or once V3 comes out. But Hustle can guide you through the Solana jungles, the ecosystem there. You can use them as an assistant, use them as a tool in your toolbox. Ask him, hey, give me some safe plays that could 5x in Solana. He'll give you some information. You take that information, you make the decision that you think is best based off of that, right? And then when conditionals coming out, you're going to be able to kind of set your instructions for Hustle and go work out. It's going to be really awesome. You can just get away from the computer and he'll handle everything for you at that point. Also, make sure you transfer your Tensor over to Hustle at migrate.fun. You got a couple days left to do that. Don't miss that window, because once that window's done, you can't do it anymore. And then also, if you need to migrate your LPs away from the evilness that's being locked up by Pump Fund and other launch pads, you can reach out to the team and they can get you set up to do that, just like they did. And then lastly, don't forget they have a TGE in September/October for their rune. If you go to OpenSea right now, you can participate in a pre-sale if you search Founder Vaults, Emblem Founder Vaults. You purchase the NFT, and then once the TGE comes, you will have a Bitcoin wallet with the keys unlocked. No one else can see it except for you, and you will have those Bitcoin runes in there. And that's going to be the parent token overall, the entire brand there. So make sure you check that out. Head over to emblem.vision today to learn more there. And then Artura.finance, the leverage and perps DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. It's really simple, guys. If you're in the future looking to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungibles, you're going to do it at Artura.finance. They're going to have the likes of Dog Go to the Moon, ORDI, Sats, possibly other runes as well, $1 Billion Cat, the popular ones, right? And they will also have popular tokens outside the ecosystem, XRP, Tau, Ethereum. Of course, Bitcoin will be available as well. But they're going to be launching mainnet very, very soon. Once that announcement is there, you're going to be able to trade Bitcoin. We're actually going to put out a tutorial on how to get your wallet funded, all that stuff. So check that out over the weekend or early next week once that drops. And head over to Artura.finance today. And then we got Fluid Tokens. Fluid Tokens is the UTXO wizard devs. First started on Cardano and started building on Bitcoin as well. Now they're building on both. On the Cardano side, we went over it today, but if you missed that, if you want to participate in the Aquarium platform, you can add liquidity there and earn Babel fees. It's really simple. How it works is basically you're adding a token that people on Cardano can use besides ADA. And this is a new approach that Fluid has created, right? Also, they're going to be pushing live updates for the automatic payment. So if you are a builder on the Cardano side, need to set up automatic payment for your devs, you can do so at fluidtokens.com. On the Bitcoin side, they're going to be doing Dog Go to the Moon Season 3 staking. You're going to be able to stake Alkanes to earn Dog and vice versa, stake Dog to earn Alkanes. They're really trying to innovate, kind of meshing these meta protocols together. But if you need a staking vault set up, head over to their Discord, put a ticket in, ask them, you know, how you get started. They'll set you guys up. They've done it for several builders in the ecosystem, as you can see there. Also, they have an airdrop tool, the Runes airdrop tool, and Alkanes. If you're a builder and need to airdrop to your community, use their airdrop tool. It's cheap, it's fast. 2 options: you can upload a CSV file that has all the information there, or you can do it manually. So it's really easy, straightforward. Head over to fluidtokens.com and dive in there. And then Tokyo Wallet, the multi-chain smart wallet, also on Cardano and Bitcoin. They are building for UI UX. We talked about UI and UX. This team has been doing it since the start. They know, you know, what users need. And so if you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have a Android, head over to the Google Play Store, guys. You can swap for Runes, or you can swap for Cardano tokens. They partnered with Sats Terminal to make it possible on the Rune side, the Bitcoin side, and then they partnered with Dex Hunter to make it possible on the Cardano side, guys. Also, staking is live right now. The flexible staking is the only open one, so it's a variable staking APR. But if you head over to the app and you click on the ribbon at the bottom, you'll see Stoke. And once you click on Stoke, that's where you can stake for the flexible, and it's a day-to-day right there, like I mentioned before. You know, so the APR changes every single day, but you're earning, you can stake your toke to earn Stoke there. It's really cool stuff. Make sure you head over to tokyo.io and learn more there. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI. Merlin Chain has their version of their AI product called the Wizard, and they're at version 0.3. Right now, the Wizard can guide you through Merlin's ecosystem. They can also do some DeFi functions for you, like staking and swapping. But speaking of staking, you can actually also help secure the chain, as they have a proof of stake staking option. You have 3 options: Bitcoin, which you can earn at a minimum 8%, at the max 21%. So you're staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. Awesome option there. They're going to max it out at 100 Bitcoin. They're at 67 right now. So make sure that you understand, though, if you stake your Bitcoin, it's locked in there until September 30th. Right, you see the date right there. And then 2 other options on the Merlin Chain token side: the flexible, which is a day-to-day, you earn 15%. You can claim your rewards every single day, but it does take 7 days to withdraw. So just know that processing time is 7 days. And then they have the bonded, which is a 6-month Merlin Chain token staking option, and you earn 45% APR there. But again, with that one, you can claim your rewards every single day. So you can technically create that compound interest effect there. Head over to merlinchain.io to learn more. And lastly, our integrated partner is Ordinal Hive. They are an ordinal aggregator, and you're going to be able to find the cheapest ordinals around here at Ordinal Hive. They have a lot of features coming. They boast that they are going to be the fastest to get your Bitcoin whenever you trade on Ordinal Hive. So make sure you go check out Ordinal Hive, guys. Thank you guys so much for checking out our partners. Oh, you're on mute.
Yup. Great job, man. As always, you guys wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io. It's one of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and caught up to where we are today. If you guys, you know, just check out some of these articles here. If you go all the way back until we first started, we were putting out articles almost every single week. So check those out. You guys can really just kind of read through them all and have as much knowledge as me and Yagobi, because we put all of our knowledge into these articles. So check them all out. They're very short reads. You can knock them out in a minute or two and just kind of keep knocking them out, guys. But check out our newest article, Kraken, the breakout sex of 2025 bull cycle. And it's awesome. And if your wife come up to you, but what are you reading? You can tell her you're reading the breakout sex of 2025, and I'll get her excited. So check that out there, guys. And if you guys need a VPN, we have the #1 VPN. That's Nord. Guys, check this out, because if you go to NordVPN, they're going to charge you $11.59. If you just kind of pay $3.39 through our link, You lock it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it. You won't ever have to pay this $11.59. You do 3 months, you will have to pay that in 3 months if you want to continue it or get another email and use our link again. But what I did, I paid the $66. I locked it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it, done with it. Check everything out here at OnChain Revolution. Also, if you guys need merch for events or whatever, we have some of the best merch in all of crypto. And if you guys want us to add something, yo, can you add my PFP? Can you add my Node Monkey? Can you add my Puppet? Sure, we can add anything. Let us know. Reach out to us. You can DM me, DM Yagobi, DM the brand account, and we can pretty much add anything, you guys. But we have a lot of really cool stuff here already. We got the Dog Go to the Moon hoodie. We are all Satoshi, the Mean Dog, so much more. The Puppets, and Gizmo and Billy Cat as well. Check everything out here at onchainrevolution.io. Remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys, until Monday.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.